Welcome to this rest visualization called Rest as Liberation for Black women. Your imagination is the key to your liberation. As you visualize your future well-rested self, know that you create the space in your mind to make that dream into a reality. I want to thank you for being here. Please know that your presence is needed and that you are valued. I want to take a moment to envision rest, not just as an act of self-care, but as a radical form of liberation. Rest is your right. It's a rejection of the systems that tell us we must always be working, striving, or achieving to have value. Our value is inherent. Rest is a way to reclaim your body, your spirit, and your joy. So to get started, find a comfortable position. You can sit or lie down, whatever feels best for you. Close your eyes if you feel safe, or you can simply soften your gaze. Let's begin with a deep breath. In through the nose, and a slow, gentle exhale out through the mouth. Start by noticing your body. Feel the ground beneath you, holding you up. Imagine it as a symbol of support, steady and unwavering. Breathe in deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs and nourish your body as you inhale. And as you exhale, release any tension you may be holding in your shoulders, your jaw, or anywhere else you may be experiencing tightness. With each breath, let yourself sink deeper into this moment of stillness, this moment that you have taken unapologetically for yourself. Trust that you are safe, that you are held, that you deserve this peace, and that it is always accessible to you. Now imagine yourself in a space where you feel completely at ease. It might be a room, a garden, a beach, a forest, or anywhere else that brings you peace. Picture yourself surrounded by warmth, comfort, and safety. In this space, there are no demands on you. There are no deadlines. There are no expectations. There is no noise from the outside world. You are free to simply be. Feel the lightness in your body as you come into the realization that you owe no one an explanation for resting, because you are free. As you take another deep breath in, visualize the shame and guilt we often feel around rest as a heavy weight on your shoulders. With your exhale, imagine that weight melting away, evaporating into the air. With each breath, your body becomes lighter. Your mind becomes clearer, and your spirit feels at ease. Now see yourself moving through the world as your most liberated self. You are rested. You are vibrant. You are whole. Affirm these things to yourself. You make choices that honor your body and honor your boundaries. You rest without apology, knowing that your rest is a form of resistance, a reclaiming of power attempted to be stolen by oppressive systems. In this moment, affirm to yourself, I am free to rest. My rest is sacred. My rest is my liberation. Say this to yourself in your mind or out loud, and let the truth of those words sink deep into your being. Slowly bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes, feeling the ground beneath you once again. When you're ready, gently open your eyes if you close them. As you carry this feeling of rest and liberation with you, remember that you are worthy of peace. You are worthy of joy. And you are worthy of rest. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. A living, breathing, beautiful being here on planet Earth. And rest is your birthright. I want to thank you for giving yourself this time to reclaim your rest and embrace your inner peace. And know that you can return to this rest visualization at any time you feel called to. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you really enjoyed our guided meditation. I'm excited, I'm sure you are as well, to be here with us today. And we are going to have a word from our sponsor and the alternate path. And so I'm introducing Jacqueline.
Hello. Hi. The main reason why I wanted to sponsor this event is because it is so important. I've been a nurse for 21 years and I reside here in Houston, Texas. I'm an emergency room nurse, and I have seen the effects of the hustle culture that has been, I guess, really prevalent on social media. And women are really doing their thing, particularly Black women. Black women are, have been one of the largest groups of individuals that own businesses, as the latest reports for 2025 going into 2026. But also in that we also have to know, outside of hustle culture and being a boss, is that we have to take care of ourselves, self-love and self-care and everything. And so that's why I wanted to sponsor this event, is because I wanted to make sure that women understand that this is very important. And that's one of the things that my business focus on, is that how to incorporate self-care and self-love into your daily routine. So I'm sponsoring this event not necessarily to highlight my business, but to show support for all of the Black women out there who are entrepreneurs and who are out here trying to make a difference in their communities, and and just in individual lives, whether they're selling products, doing coaching, or offering, hands-on services like I do in my office. So this is a show of support for all the Black women entrepreneurs out there, the boss babes and chicks out there, is that there are times when you have to take a moment to really just stop and pause and take a deep breath, and make sure that you don't forget that the business will not be successful unless you first take care of yourself. And so that's why I'm proud to sponsor this event. And I'm hoping that any woman that's watching this will get some type of benefit or learn some type of tip. There's some great speakers on here that can really affect their lives, and also remember that they are important. And without their self-care and self-love, the business will not run or be successful.
Thank you so much, Nurse Jackie. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We are really excited to have you today.
Thank you.
Hello again. Hello,
Hello.
Jennifer.
Hello, Miss Samantha. How you doing today?
Amazing. I'm so happy I'm co-hosting Wild with you today.
Yes, we're ready to get wild today.
Absolutely.
I love it. Oh, and that meditation was really good. I really like the part of I owe no one an explanation for resting.
Hmm.
And
I love that.
As Nurse Jackie said, sometimes we need that, pause because we're just hustling, hustling, hustling. So we really needed that moment to just take a deep breath, get ourselves together, and now we are ready for today's excitement.
Yes, absolutely. Rest is sacred. So we want to make sure that all the ladies remember that today.
Yes. So we are honored to be able to introduce the curators of today's event, the amazing Fancy Felder and Lakeisha Mosley. Welcome to the
Yes.
stage, ladies.
Greetings. Greetings, guys. Welcome to Where Wild Women Wonder. I'm Fancy, as of course it says on the screen as well, and I am the award-winning publisher and editor-in-chief of SwagHer Magazine. And I'm just so excited that you all said yes to this event, that you all said yes to taking a moment to rest, that you all understand the value and importance of actually taking that time for yourself. As an entrepreneur of 15 years, I know how essential rest can be. I had to learn because I used to think that I could do everything, I could be superwoman, and life, especially as I've aged, has really shown me that I need to slow down and make certain I take those moments to myself.
Yes, and hey everyone, I'm Lakeisha Mosley. I'm the CEO and founder of the LM Experience, and I have the awesome pleasure of been working with Tracy about 10 years now. I have been 13 years in the game as an event curator, and I know firsthand about rest as well. Recently being diagnosed about 2, 3 years ago with high functioning depression, rest is essential as a business owner. And so when Fancy came up with this amazing concept about rest, I was like, let's do it. I'm down. I'm in. I think we as Black women don't rest enough. We wear busy as a badge of honor, and it is killing us. Literally, it is killing us. But it has also affected our businesses and the people that we serve. And so I'm excited about everything we got planned here, Fancy. This has been an amazing experience. These speakers are spot on. And y'all are in for a treat today. So I'm excited. Thank you for even including me in this amazing experience.
Thank you, Lakeisha, for all your hard work. She's really put a lot of work into this, guys, and I just want to take a minute to acknowledge that because I could not have done this without her. Definitely. Like I say that genuinely. So yes,
Right.
I agree. Thank you for your yes.
Yes. Well, thank you. And I'm excited, y'all. So we're going to turn it back over to our event host and let them take it over. Bye, y'all.
Hello, hello. I am back. Again, I'm Chris Natha DeRozier, certified life coach, author, and speaker, and your co host today. I'm so excited because we are going to get started with our very first panel discussion. Before we do that, if you are watching, I need you to do something for me. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Okay, we want to make sure that we know where you are tuning in from. We're excited. We know you're from all over. And so let us know where you're representing today. And as we do that, I am going to call up my lovely panelists. I'm super excited about this conversation. We're going to be talking about all things wellness. Wellness is revolutionary. And so, with that being said, I'm going to call up my panelists. We have founder and executive director Cassandra James.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello and welcome. We're so excited to have you today.
Yes.
I'm excited. And then I now want to call up CEO Carlene LeBlanc.
Hi.
Hello, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We also have our self-care coach and founder, April Richmond.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello and welcome. And we have Ty Salvant, author, speaker, and advocate. Welcome. Good morning and good morning. All right, so we're going to get started with our panel discussion. I'm excited. I have some questions for you, ladies. And so please share with us, share your insight, your knowledge, because I know it's going to be so helpful for everyone watching today. All right, and so let's jump right in. I first want to ask you, how do you define wellness and how has your understanding of it evolved over time? Anyone's more than welcome to start.
I,
Wellness for me is mere mental health, number one, emotional, physical, social, um, everything about you, making sure that you're functioning in society, that you are okay. So everything that everything that is you, if that makes sense.
It does, it does. Thank you so much. Cassandra, can you share with us as well? How would you define wellness?
Oh, I'm happy to do so. I define wellness as loving yourself well,
Mhm.
you know, because that looks different every day, what you might need, but it is what does that best version of yourself, what does she need? What are you doing for her? So it is really loving yourself, whether it's mental health that you need to concentrate on that day, your physical health, or what have you. It is making sure that you are making the decisions as much as possible that you are, this is something that is good for me or better for me. It's not about perfectionism at all because that doesn't exist, but these are the ways that I weave in things to my life that help me to love myself well.
I love that. Loving yourself well. Thank you so much. And April, how would you define wellness and how has that evolved over time? We're going to come back to April. I do want to jump into our next question we have. I wanted to also ask the lovely panel, in your experience, what are the most common misconceptions about wellness for Black women, would you say, in your opinion?
That we're resilient. Um, it seems like society thinks that Black women which we are resilient, don't get me wrong, but that we don't need rest. Being a Black woman, you're discriminated against because you're female and because you're Black, but we wear it well. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like the Black woman carries the world. And so it seems like the world continues to just dump stuff on us, and we're going to continue to shake it off. But the reality is the Black woman needs rest, right? The Black woman needs to be pampered. The Black woman needs to be loved. The Black woman needs to put herself first. Because as a Black woman, and we were talking about this yesterday, I said how as a Black woman, a man could do us wrong. We'll take him back and we'll take care of him till the day he dies. We're so forgiving. And it's like, she can handle it. She's okay. And so I feel like that's a misconception. The Black woman needs rest. The Black woman needs all of these powerful things out there that the white woman needs. We seem to think we don't need therapy. We seem to think we don't need medicine. You talked about depression earlier. We need medicine. We need therapy. All we need is the church. We're taught that. But we need everything that the white woman needs. We need it. Black women need it all, because we've been carrying this since slavery, so that it seems to believe we're so strong because of our ancestors, which we are, and which we can handle it, and which we can do things 10 times better than others. But we need rest, we need love, and we need to realize that we do deserve to be put first and have self-love and have this whole wellness thing where we take care of our mind, body, and soul.
How do we start to change that narrative that we're strong all of the time, that we're resilient and we don't need help? Are we the problem? How do we change that narrative?
Yes. I think we have to stop believing that we need to earn rest and we need to earn wellness. As Black women, we don't have to earn a nap. You can take a nap. If you're tired, take a nap. If you need a spa day, take a spa day. We don't have to put these conditions on ourselves where we have to feel like, I know when I was growing up, I remember hearing, if I said I was tired, my parents or my grandparents would say, "You tired? You haven't done anything. How can you be tired? You haven't done enough to be tired." And I think we still embrace that we have to do all of these things and grind and hustle and wear ourselves out before we can earn rest. We have to get out of that mindset of believing that wellness and rest is a response to chaos. Wellness and rest is a response to working ourselves to death. We can rest. We can give ourselves that right to rest and take care of ourselves at any given moment. It should be built into your daily activities to take a rest, take a break, lay down, sit down, be quiet, be still. You have earned it. We have earned that.
And to your point, we need to model that for our children.
Exactly.
We need to ask for help. We don't need to do it all ourselves, because if we continue to do it, they will let us.
Yes.
But when we stop and when we say, hey, now I am taking a break, now I am resting, making sure that we aren't asking our kids those questions when they say that they're tired, and expressing to them that we get tired. And when we get tired, maybe this is the time where we turn off all televisions and screens and stimulation and just enjoy some silence. Or we go out in nature together. And like you said, build it into your day to where this is just a part of what you do. You eat every day, you rest every day.
Mm-hmm. It's not a luxury. Rest
It is not a luxury. And, to that point, and everything that has been said has just been so on, also, you asked, are we the problem? Right. And we have really done what the systems have created for us to done. Right. And we've bought into that. And so part of leaning into rest and wellness is unlearning some of that, because it's one thing to say, well, we should rest, we should do it. But it's hard to deprogram yourself from what it is that because then it's time to sit down and you're now, well, I don't feel right. My nervous system isn't feeling right because I'm not doing something. I feel like I need to be doing something, right? And so part of that is relinquishing that cape understanding that, hey, I have to remind myself while I'm sitting down, while my nervous system is starting to act up a little bit because I don't feel right, because I'm not doing something or being productive, that you need those gentle reminders. You have to gently remind yourself with love that it is okay for me to be here, that that's okay. And start to connect with or surround yourself with other Black women who are leaning into rest. Being in spaces like this today, where that is the goal, is to lean into rest, because then when those feelings come up, you have somebody who is leaning into that instead of the hustle and the grind culture and the go get it, who can say, yes sis, no, you need to rest. Yes sis, when it happens, just remind yourself just to stop, right? But to understand that that does not happen overnight, and to give ourselves grace as you start to transition, because it can be challenging. One of the things that happens in our community when we start talking about rest, it's like, well, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just sitting here. I could be doing XYZ, QP, and R by the time I get through with this. But no, having people around you that are doing this, having other Black women who are just as busy, just as loving, just as caring, who are saying, yes, I too am going to lean into this, can make all the difference in the world. So giving yourself grace as you are starting to deprogram from grind culture.
I love that. So I'm hearing take off the cape. We don't have to be superwoman, super mom. We just get to be. And I love that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I know we have some physical wellness routines that we could do. I wanted to ask, beyond the physical wellness routines, are there any holistic routines that we can add to our day-to-day schedule that might be helpful, just really helping us to really begin changing this narrative, and to help us sustain our well-being?
I would have to say breath. It is, child, if somebody had told me the power of a breath 20 years ago, lives would have been saved. Okay. But just literally learning to breathe, you know, learning to be intentional, just like that wonderful video we had at the beginning that encouraged us to pause and to take that breath, right? Before you step into that meeting, before you hop on another Zoom call, before you get out at your kid's school or what have you, stop right there and just take a deep breath. Breathe in deeply through your nose and hold it for a few seconds, and then releasing through your mouth. Make that something that you can do. It's very simple. It don't even cost a quota for you to do it, right? But it's something that you can take with you, and it is something holistic that really it brings in the oxygen that you need, and it takes out that carbon dioxide that you need to get out. And a lot of times when we do it, you don't even know that you've been holding yourself so tightly. You don't know that you haven't been fully inhaling and exhaling, holding your breath. And so just by taking the time to just breathe and weaving that in can be a nice, simple kind of entry point, holistic thing you can do that isn't overwhelming, but you can do it anytime, anywhere, including in that meeting when you might be feeling like you're about to catch a case. Just take a breath. Take a breath. Don't catch a case, catch a breath.
That is a retweet. Don't catch a case. Catch a breath. I love that. Any other holistic approaches any of our other panelists would like to share with us that we can start incorporating in our daily routines?
Mine is drinking tea every morning. And not with caffeine, but true tea made from the earth, like where you actually dry out the ginger or you dry out the rosemary. I like growing, so gardening, but that would be physical gardening. But a routine of drinking tea and then meditating. And you can do that on your way to work as well. Listen to music that soothes your soul, and they can get you ready for that holistic day, but for that busy day rather. But tea, to me, it relaxes me, and it's like a holistic ritual that I do every morning along with meditating?
And I definitely want to add slow mornings. Having a slow morning. If you follow me on anything, you know that I am obsessed with having a slow morning, a slow intentional morning, and keeping in mind that the only difference between a routine and a routine and a ritual is the intention that you put behind it. So waking up not early, because I'm not an early morning person. I'm never going to tell anyone to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Wake up at your regular time, maybe a few minutes earlier, and have a slow, intentional morning instead of hitting the ground running. Wake up, move slowly, give yourself time. If you drink that tea in the morning or that coffee in the morning, sit and enjoy that tea and coffee and be intentional about it and understand why that makes you feel good in the morning. What is that doing for you in the morning? Is it making you happy? Is it giving you joy? What is that? And really lean into that in the mornings. And again, it doesn't cost you anything to just slow down. And it makes a huge difference in the rest of your day. If you could just slow your pace, don't rush out of bed, take a few moments to sit up, gather yourself, and move with intention in the morning. I guarantee you the rest of your day is going to be top tier. You're going to start off in a really great place if you just slow down those mornings.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I wanted to also ask our lovely panel, for a woman with a really busy life, how can she start incorporating wellness into her life without feeling guilty? I think we stated at the beginning how a lot of women, we kind of feel like we need to handle it all. And so there's a guilt that could be attached to caring for yourself. And so, how do we start to battle this and still make wellness a priority?
Ooh, I'm going to say this: embrace the guilt and the grief. So when I say embrace it, it's not if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? And it's a process to get to the point where you no longer feel guilty for choosing you. Because we've been programmed since as the old folks would say, since we were knee high to a duck, to pour, 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 and not receive. So to get into the spirit and the habit or the ritual of receiving, right? That takes time and practice. It takes deprogramming, and that does not happen overnight. You're not going to be in your 30s, 40s, and 50s and all of a sudden wake up and be like, oh, yeah, rest is great and I need it and it's resistance and I'm just going to do it. And then tomorrow everything's great. That does not happen that way. So understand that the guilt is coming, it will be there. What you are doing in the process is just gently reminding yourself that you deserve this, that you don't have to perform and overperform to have it, and just have those gentle reminders because it's not if it's a win, it happens. The other part about embracing the grief is anytime we make a change, whether it's good or bad, remember, as humans, we don't really like change. That's a human thing, right? And so, whenever there is a change, there's some grief attached to that. Some of the things we let go, and I think Ty spoke to that about our children, right? You see have children at home, or maybe you're a Gigi and you are very, very interactive with your grandkids. When you first start to choose you, there will be that guilt. There will be that grief of, oh, I'm maybe not doing this, or maybe I don't feel as needed if I back up. I don't have that control maybe that I thought I had in this situation or at my job or here at home or what have you, right? Whatever it is, there's a grieving process that you're going to go through, even for this good change of loving yourself well. So embracing that awkwardness that you might be feeling is actually a bit of grief that's happening, and just understand that it is part of the process. You're not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? You're not crazy, but it is a part of the process. And when we start to just embrace it as just a part of the process, just like anything that you're healing, that discomfort part, right? I think that helps us to relinquish it, but it does take time. And then remembrance that it just takes time. And just like any muscle, You have to give yourself the time in order for it to get to that point. So embrace it and have those gentle reminders, and start with just the 5 minutes. I call them 5 minutes to feel. Set the timer on your phone, and nobody, that's your 5 minutes to throw a pillow, hit something soft, or hit something soft, uh, to laugh, to cry, what have you. Those are your 5 minutes. And when the timer goes off, give yourself a deep, deep breath and go on about it. Repeat as often as you need, but start small, because you're not going to change your entire routine overnight. It's not, it's overwhelming and it's not sustainable, but you can start with 5 minutes, and you can start by giving yourself grace.
And so, for thinking about, those of us with very full lives, that, like, what I often think about is the way that I parent my children. I know that they need rest. I know that they need to take naps. I know, and I make space for that. And it took a minute, like, Cassie was saying, but we have to treat ourselves the same way and acknowledge that we do need that rest, and that those things can wait, and that we shouldn't be the only one who can handle X, Y, or Z in the house. So for me, one of the things that I had to do was to prioritize sleep. And that meant not staying up when the house was quiet and it was so easy to get things done. And I could just think or watch television or be uninterrupted. But I wasn't realizing the impact that that lack of sleep was having on me. I couldn't have a slow morning because I was oversleeping and waking up and rushed and frantic. But when I prioritized sleep and said, you know what, if these things don't happen before this time, it's just not going to happen. Right. And I let go of the guilt associated with that, because it made me a better version of me. I was happier with me. My family and friends were happier with me. So just, again, as we've been saying, we deserve the love that we pour into everyone else. And doing a workshop on legacy, one of the things that I recalled is that I want to be remembered for loving myself as fiercely as I love my children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What if we could all say that? We'd be some well-loved people, wouldn't we? Right? So how can we embrace that and look for little ways to love ourselves? And a part of that is, you would not, if your kid came to you and said, Mom, I feel bad that I needed to take a nap, you would be like, what? You were tired. Why would you feel bad for needing to take a nap when you were tired? We need to treat ourselves the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, what I do, I start prioritizing myself. I think I was on an island. I may have been in Jamaica, and I had a meeting with the prime minister and along with the chief of staff and the person that was over the whole postal system. And so in that conference, he said, how old are you? And I said, well, I'm 50. He said, well, you're closer to death than you are life. And that has stuck with me, and that has motivated me to put me first, because actually at 40, we are closer to death than we are life. The older we get, biologically, our eyesight is poor. All of us on here with glasses, except a few of you, then y'all may have contacts on, but your eyesight gets poor. Your body starts to break down. So you have to do more for you. So what I start doing is prioritizing myself. If there's something that needs to be done, I'm going to take care of me first. I have to walk every morning for my mental health. If I don't walk, I'm not going to get nothing done at work. Everything just goes downhill. So for me, I prioritize myself, and I say, you are closer to death than you are life. You better live this thing called life. You got to prioritize you. So get a list of things that you have to do. But the first thing you're going to do is love on you and do something for you and your mental health. So that walking gets me going. It gets me motivated. I pray, I meditate, I talk to other people, I pour into them. Then I go back home and I can cook, and I'll do the things that need to be done. And then I get my day started with work. So if I have to get up early then I get up early to do those things, but I start prioritizing, and I prioritize me. And then everything else goes into play. Like they said, if you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. If you don't love yourself, you can't get to that job, because the minute you close your eyes, you're going to be replaced at that job. The world doesn't stop for anybody. It keeps spinning. Whether you're depressed, whether you have anxiety, if you're in the hospital, if somebody dies, you saying, hey, I'm grieving, I'm depressed, but what does the world do? It keeps moving. So you better take care of yourself. There'll always be another job. Take care of you, prioritize you, then get all of the busyness done. And sometimes what I'll do, I take care of me, and then I can sit and take care of all of my work. But the first thing I do, thank God that I'm here in the morning, make up that bed, drink that tea, get my walk going, and I'm prioritizing me. And then that way I'm happy and I'm in alignment. And so, when you're in alignment, you're happy, you're vibrating on high, and you can do that work and get it done in no time and feel happy about doing a job that needs to be done.
Yes. Love it. Thank you so much. April, please share with us, how do you get over the guilt of making yourself a priority?
So I have a lot of clients that come to me, and the first thing that they say is exactly where I was originally: is I don't have time. I'm too busy. I have too much going on. And the first thing we do is look at their schedule, and I tell them, even before I see it, I know that you are so tired and so exhausted, and you don't want to take this break because you have built your schedule to serve other people and not yourself. Common. That's what we do. Is if we look at your schedule, your day-to-day schedule, it is serving everyone except for you. Let's go through your schedule and add in some time for you. That self-care time for you. So that's what I do, and that's what I encourage everyone else to do. Is let's do an energy map where we can see where are you the slowest during your day. Where does your energy fall? When is it really high? So that we can schedule your most important things during time periods that work for you. And we're not trying to force you to be productive at 7 o'clock at night when that's when you're in your downturn, right? And so we're also going to incorporate into that your rest. Where can we put rest into your schedule? Let's look at your schedule every morning and see, how am I feeling right now? Do I feel like I need a nap at some point today? Or do I just need a little tiny micro rest where I just need to do some breath work and maybe meditate for a minute? We're going to plug that into your schedule so that it's there. If it's not on your schedule where you can see it, it is very easy to skip over it and continue to rush behind and grind behind other people that you need to take care of, right? Most of my clients are moms. I'm a mom. So most of our time is spent taking care of our children, running around for our children, doing things for our children, picking up, dropping off. Where can you schedule some time in there for yourself to help your day go smoother, so that when you get to the end of the night, you are not collapsing out of exhaustion? Schedules to me are huge. That really dictates how my day is going to go, how much I'm going to get done, who I'm going to get things done for. So that's what I encourage everyone to do, to really block out your day and schedule time for yourself, whether it's a walk, whether it is journaling, whether it is calling a friend, going out for lunch, whatever it is, schedule that into your day so that you can honor your schedule.
Thank you so much. The entire panel, you shared a wealth of insight and knowledge with us. So thank you so much to our wellness panel, ladies. Thank you. And we are excited for the rest of all the amazing things to come today in our wild event. Ladies, thank you so much. Thank you. And now we are, bye ladies. And now I'm going to call up our event curator, Miss Fancy herself, with sponsor highlights.
Fancy, you on mute this.
My apologies. I apologize, guys. I'm just talking away. I was saying thank you, Chris Natha, but we wanted to take a quick minute to thank our sponsors. because again, without them, they help to make these type of events come to life, because that also allows us to keep the events free as well. So we're really grateful for them. So just let me quickly run through them, and then also you can take a break during this time if need to go get some water, or go to the bathroom, whatever the case may be. But I'd first like to thank our sponsor, The Alternate Path. You all heard from Nurse Jackie. Again, she is offering a free 15-minute consultation. Her website was listed in the video, but it is nursejackiespeaks.com. So you all can go there to get your free consultation to help you feel good, look good, and gain more confidence. I'd also like to thank Coifdu, which is a hair care brand. You all can check them out at coifdu.com. We have Spa and Party, and I'm sorry, I don't quite remember. I remember some of these websites because I already know them, but Spa and Party, you all can check them out as well. And then there is I'm Every Woman, who's also one of our sponsors. Boots on the Ground. Well, I'm Every Woman, let me just tell you all, is a brand owned by Valerie Starks, and Valerie is a 30-year media professional. She basically comes in and help you transform your business with marketing and branding. So you all can reach out to her if you're interested in that. And also, let me circle back to Spa and Party, because that is a self-care brand, and we're really big on that. They host parties, spa parties, and offer spa party sets that you all can purchase from their website. They're located in the Carolinas. And then there's in North Carolina, to be exact. Then there's Boots on the Ground, which is a nonprofit dedicated to educating, empowering, and connecting female veterans across the Carolinas. So you all can check them out. They're going to be celebrating an anniversary really soon, and they're hosting an event as well. So I invite you all to give them a glance, especially if you are a female veteran, or if you're still enlisted in the military. And then there's also Sister Girl Chronicles. Thank you to them. Sister Girl Chronicles is a platform for women that are 50 plus, and she shares her different travels. You all can just learn more about wellness and just any of your travel inquiries, I guess you say, or whatever wonderings you might have. She shares those with us as readers. And then I also have, there's also one last brand, Accessorize Your Mood, which is a handbag and accessories brand. So they have different handbags. You all can check them out on their website. And again, if you're looking for the website links, you all can look at the different banners that are at the bottom of the screen, and the website links are on those as well. And then also we'll have something to go out after the event that just thanks all the sponsors again, and I'll ensure that we have all of their links listed there so that you can shop with them, because again, we do appreciate their support. And that is basically it for the sponsorship part. You all, I think, still have a few more minutes before the next panel, so you can grab water, as I said before. We are also continuing the conversation on Threads, or having a conversation on Threads. I'm the one actually sharing a lot of the quotes from the different panelists who have been speaking, just little grabs that I'm making here and there. If you are on Threads, I invite you all to follow us at SwagHer Magazine and share your thoughts on rest and wellness, or repost those threads that I've already shared. So again, thank y'all. See y'all in a little while. I brought myself back to the stage. I'm sorry, y'all. I got Boots on the Ground, a song in my head. Support her boots. Please support her boots. That's the name of the brand. I just want to make certain I say that correctly.
I'm too tickled. Fancy boots on the ground. That song gets stuck. I totally understand. I do hope that you all have been enjoying today. I was peeking in the comments and I see that you were joining us from Chicago, New Orleans, Virginia, Upper Marlboro, Indiana, California. I'm here in Philadelphia. It is so, so good to see you all. So then we're going to have our Rest is Resistance panel with our lovely moderator, Tanisha Davis. So stay tuned. Let's hear about Rest is Resistance. Here we go.
Happy Saturday, everyone, and welcome to the Rest is Resistance panel. I'm Tanisha Davis, and I will be hosting this segment for you. Today, this conversation will explain how grind culture has impacted Black women, how it's shaped how we view rest, and how choosing rest can actually be a radical act of self-preservation, preservation, and healing. And we have some brilliant panelists for this segment. So we're looking forward to getting started with this portion of the segment. The panelists who will be joining us are, I'm hoping I say this correctly, Lainey Shaw, Cardam Penn. Lainey Shaw, I hope I said your name correctly. Hello. Cardam Penn, Dr. Michelle Van, I hope I said that correct, and Kalia, I don't want to mispronounce your name. How are you all?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So this is a very powerful segment talking about rest is resistance. So to get into the topic, it says grind culture has been heavily glorified, especially for Black women. We know about grind culture. How do you think this culture has impacted our mental and physical health?
Well, first, I wanted to start out by giving a shout out to Tricia Hersey, the founder of the NAP Ministry, and whose book, Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto, was really pivotal in helping us as Black women, particularly in the Bay Area, to really re-envision and to have the bravery and the courage to rest in public. That was part of her. She was an artist, and her installation was her actually sleeping. She's also a minister. From my personal background, that's what I can speak to in terms of physical health and mental and all of that. I was brought up in two distinct households, very different and very pivotal in terms of how I showed up in the world. I remember my father had a T-shirt that said, "Jesus is coming, look busy." And I often wondered, it made me laugh, but I wasn't really sure what it meant. But I felt like the implied meaning was that you better be doing something, when the reckoning comes or however, you have to have something to show that what you did, what you contributed. And so I know in his life and my parents' life, that was very important, particularly during the 60s and all of that. You had to make an impact. You had to make a difference and a way for the next generation. I also grew up in a household with my mom, Bobby Norris, may she rest in peace. She was a yoga teacher, one of the first Black yoga teachers in the San Francisco Bay Area for 45 years. And so she and my stepdad would create wellness retreats in the 70s for the Black community. And so they introduced yoga and meditation and that type of thing. So I think that kind of, I had that strong work ethic where I pushed and, made sure I was busy and was rewarded for that. And at the same time, I knew that there was a part of me that was a spiritual being having a human experience. And I needed to give attention to that part of myself too, that sacred part of myself. And that's why I created Sacred Naps. So I think that foundationally, we've been taught grind culture as a means of survival, going back 400 years. It was dangerous to sleep. It was against the law to rest. So we have a lot of reclaiming to do and to reverse that narrative. And yes, it does affect all elements of our mental and physical well-being. I come from a mental health background, so that speaks a lot to how we are when we have rest and what happens when we don't have rest. And it's a quality of life issue. It's a mortality issue or extending our lifespan issue, and also how to be in harmony with our internal and external environments.
Awesome. Did anyone else want to expound on that as well?
Well, I'll kind of go a little bit off of what she was just saying. You know, rest is spiritual in the sense that Jesus, God was here. The earth was created in 6 days, and on the seventh he rested. So there is a principle that is already in the universe. It says that we should rest. Jesus rested. God rested.
Right.
So there's that piece, and then there's this piece in which we are taught as an American culture. It is the culture of America not to rest because we are consumers. If you go to other cultures, other countries, rest is a part of what they do. There's a siesta. There is a when you go into certain cultures, you know, within their office systems, they have places for you to go and take a nap. And so it's America, in this Americanized sort of system that we have created. We have created this ideal that rest is laziness, and which, if we really understand our bodies, and I think she alluded to that, that was kind of alluding to it at the end, if we don't rest, I teach a general psychology class, and one of the pieces that we go through is about resting. And what does sleep do for us? Sleep was always designed to recoup us. So when we go into slumber, it is designed to recoup our body, to reset our body so that the next day we're ready to do whatever it is that we're going to do. If we don't get that sleep, if we don't get that slumber, if we don't get that rest, our bodies cannot rejuvenate, cannot restore, and cannot do what they're designed to do. And so it literally is that we have to resist the temptation not to rest and to just be a part of this hustle culture.
Right, right. I like that you touched on that about resting, as far as like us not getting the proper rest, because I wanted to ask, like, what are the dangers? Because a lot of times we're pushing through and we're not properly resting, but what are some of the dangers of not resting?
So go ahead, Lonnie.
Hi, this is Lainey. And so I was going to say, when you're pushing through and, you know, we're glorifying the ability to hustle and to get things done, when you're pushing through like that, there's so much danger associated with it because you're really feeling productive in the moment. But at some point, it really does start to chip away at your mental well-being, your health, and things of that nature. You may not be taking care of yourself physically. You may be not eating properly. It can lead to stress, you know, additional heart problems and heart disease and all these things that we're not thinking of because we're in the moment of being productive and meeting our goals. And then even beyond that, it has the ability to affect our relationships, you know, the relationships that we have with other people. If you're thinking that I can do this myself, maybe that makes you a little bit less vulnerable and willing to sort of lean in your relationships. Definitely don't want to put any labels on anyone, but these are just some of the dangers that I've seen when, you know, working with coaching clients that I work with, that they are a little bit hesitant to lean in their relationships. It's causing issues because, you know, now they're like, I have to do this. I have to grind. I have to get through this. And there's just so much danger as it relates to, you know, what you're trying to do for your health, your mental health, your well-being. And you might not notice it, which is part of the danger because you're not noticing that these things are happening until you get to the end of that. So I'll stop there, but that's just some of what we're seeing.
And just real quick, because I know we're still on the first question. From a scientifically speaking perspective, Black women report higher rates of sleep insufficiency. About 37% sleep less than 7 hours per night. And this is compared to 27% of white women. So I think Lainey had mentioned that we're more prone to heart disease, we're prone to diabetes, we're prone to the things that are impacting our community. So diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, and we're at a higher risk for dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So when you think about that, if nothing else, that should give us a reason to really prioritize our rest.
Yes.
Well, and to go along with that, one of the things that you look at psychologically, sleep deprivation, so not getting enough sleep, will put you in the same state as being drunk. So when you deprive yourself of sleep, when you are, especially if you're a woman of a certain age and insomnia is a piece of that menopause, if you're not getting that rest, if you're not intentionally taking that rest, you will be walking around just like you're drunk.
Wow. Wow, that's something to think about. Many women feel guilty about slowing down or resting, and we talked about that a little bit, especially when we've been conditioned to hustle. What would you say to women who are struggling with that guilt? And anyone can.
I'll jump out there. I lead with this motto, and it's a quote that I found years ago by Nicole Jane Hobbs. Instead of asking, have I worked hard enough to deserve to rest? I've started asking, have I rested enough to do my most loving and meaningful work?
Wow.
Brain free, like mind blown, right? And when I think about that, it kind of ties back into what we talked about earlier with our spirituality and our ancestors. Because the reality of it is that our ancestors were told when they could rest, but our generation, we can rest on demand, but we choose not to. Yeah. But it also shows that we're moving in the right direction, right? I own a place here in Houston called Nap Bar. Cardam she's a founder of Sacred and Empower Nap. So it's showing that we as a community and culture, we're starting to embrace that, but we have to work as a whole, as one unit, as a collective to demystify this I'll sleep when I'm dead mentality, because the reality of it is that's enslaved mentality. Mm-hmm. We can grind and secure the bag. So, this grind culture is rooted in capitalism and bondage, and so rest was stolen from us, or it was, we were punished by not getting rest. And so we inherited that trauma, and we must rewrite our sleep story and how we can approach rest as a priority. It's not a luxury, it is a necessity.
Right. And it's not a reward. Mm-hmm. I think that's the other piece. Kalia was saying, rest is not a reward. It's not the thing that I get because I've done all of these things. I rest because it makes me a better person. It makes me smarter. It makes my stuff, it makes everything work better when I rest. Go ahead, Lonnie.
Yeah, and I would add to that, sometimes when working with folks that are having a hard time processing this, the first step that I would say is actually noticing it, noticing that you're feeling guilty and understanding where those feelings are coming from, and then taking the steps to do something about it. I believe in small incremental change. And so, when we're talking about, are you taking time for yourself today? What are the goals that you're setting to get to the other side of this? So you can say, I am going to prioritize my health. I am going to prioritize getting the rest that I need to be the person that I want to show up as each and every day. So, I start with that first step of just noticing, embracing that you're having these feelings, and then figuring out how do we get you beyond those feelings.
Yeah. And I wanted to add too, I was at a job, and I was the CEO of a mental health agency. It was peer run, which was very unique because we were all coming with lived experience of a mental health journey. And I remember one of my colleagues said to me when I was feeling sick and I wanted to come into work, I kept coming into work. I knew I was sick. And she said to me, Cardam, go home. She said, this job will be here not when you come back, long after you're gone. And that for me was a reality check. Yeah, I could die and the agency would still be there.
Baby.
Right?
And
Life
they
would still
will fill
go
your
on.
place before you're gone.
Right, right. There may be a plaque in memorial, but that's it. So yeah, I feel like it's not, sometimes it's not a choice, because I actually had to leave that job because I burnt out. Chronic migraines, insomnia. And so, if you don't listen to your body, the body will make a decision for you. And fortunately it led to other things like me creating sacred naps, but I had to have the worst reality check, which meant I had to leave a job that I absolutely loved.
That's important. We have to listen to our body. Our body is going to definitely show us when we need to relax and we need to rest. I want to ask each of you briefly, can you share a personal experience where rest helped you reclaim your energy or creativity or even a vision for your life?
So I'm actually on vacation right now. I'm on Martha's Vineyard. And this is something that I do every year to just rest, to reset, to think about sort of what goals I'm setting for the remainder of the year. And I find that when I take that time for myself, when I'm prioritizing the rest and actually having a vacation where I'm not, thinking about work as much, other than this panel, which is on rest and it's also very important, of course. But when I take that time for myself, I see that I enjoy that slower pace, that opportunity to refuel and recharge, not just my body, but my mind, and to think about sort of the person that I am, what I want to continue to contribute. Am I prioritizing things that I say are important to me? And it also really does help with, as I move forward, creativity, because out of rest can come something can come that is just so powerful or so impactful that you had time to think about and to say, okay, this is something that I might want to do. So I think it really does help with not just creativity, but also decision making, because now I am alert because I've had an opportunity to have this rest and to prioritize what's important to me. So that is a ritual that I do every year, come to the vineyard to take that time and sort of just recharge and rest and to be with my people. So I'll say that.
Love it. I love it. Did anyone else wanted to share?
I can go real quick. For me, it's my rest is an act of self-care. And it starts every single morning. And it looks like I'm big into manifesting. I'm big into visualization. I'm big into quantum leaping, right? And if you're new to that term, it's basically you just playing this Jedi mind trick with your brain that you've already achieved the things that your heart desires, right? So every morning, first thing I do, I'm not reaching for my phone. I'm not checking email. I'm not allowing the world to come into my space. I'm putting my bubble on. I'm putting my armor on. And I'm literally in my brain visualizing what I want to achieve that day, in the next year, the next 5, the next 10. So it could be as simple as Nap Bar will have 30 locations all over the world in the next 3 years. And so I'm visually seeing me in my Nap Bar space in Tokyo, in Rome, in LA. Like I can see it. So whenever it happens, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, it happened. I've already experienced it, already felt it. And so for me, that sparks creativity. It sparks that motivation and that inspirational, especially those days when we all get it, right? You just don't simply want to do it, right? I don't want to do this. I don't have the energy to do it, but it gives me that little push to keep on going because I can feel it. I can taste it. Like all of my senses are engaged.
I totally agree. I mean, to me, naps came straight from Jesus. I mean, I taught public school for about 20 years, and every day when we would come home, myself and my kids, we would take a nap, and then we would do anything else that we needed to do. And so that has just really been a practice for me. I generally try not to take any meetings before 10, and I take a nap in the afternoon. I just do. And, it has been a place of resistance for me for the hustle culture.
Awesome.
I wanted to share also something that I don't know if we've really hit on. Trauma. Sometimes when we've experienced trauma, it may not feel safe to rest. Or if we're a caregiver, we may feel like we have to keep one ear open, in case we have to jump up and be ready and respond to a critical need. And I remember having this experience of, it was called co-counseling, where you would talk and they would talk and we would listen, mutually listen. And I remember at one point I said, I don't want to talk, I just want to sleep. And could you watch over me as I sleep? And that 30 minutes was some of the best, deepest sleep, because I knew they said, if anything comes up, we'll let you know. But for right now, just sleep. And giving me that safety, particularly not having to feel hyper vigilant, really it was truly a gift. And that's why, part of why I wanted to give this gift to other people. And to say what came out of it for me, creativity wise, I did leave my job, but I also realized that I had some artistic passions that were latent. And so I ended up becoming a fashion designer. My fashion brand is called DAF, Diaspora Atelier plus Afrofuture. And I'm going to be going to New York Fashion Week. And so had I not just decided to step back and have the courage to say, I have to stop this grind. I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what it's going to look like. I want to also give people rest. So yes, creating sacred naps, but also how can I expand beyond this? And the universe said, design some clothes, girl. Do something fun.
Awesome. How can Black women break generational cycles of always doing and instead shift toward a mindset that sees rest as resistance?
I think it's what we've been talking about. You have to set an example. See, the reason why some of us believe that we're supposed to be, and I'm going to tell my age. There used to be this commercial, and it used to say, "I can bring home the bacon fried up in a pan and never let my man forget I'm the woman," because I'm the woman. There is a reason why culture said that. So we watched our grandmothers, we watched our aunts, we watched our mothers, be half dead and, have diabetes and have heart disease. And they were making everything that for Thanksgiving, and they were making everything for Christmas, and they were doing all of these things. We had models in our life that showed us that that was what we were supposed to do. Yeah. So part of what has to happen if we are going to stop the generational curses that have happened is we have to, one, recognize them, and two, we have to set a different model for the next generation.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm encouraged because I see with conferences like this, and we all interact through our businesses with Black women who are prioritizing their self-care, who are taking the time for rest, and where they struggle with it, they're coming to get that assistance and their support from their village. So I am truly encouraged by that.
Awesome. For women navigating demanding careers, for sake of time, I'm just trying to make sure I stay on point. For women navigating demanding careers or personal lives, what intentional practices or boundaries, because that's key, boundaries would you recommend to help them truly rest and restore?
Ooh, I'd say just the first major boundary has to start with yourself. Right. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, in my practice, and I know we got to wrap here in a second. And I'll say that for everyone who's listening, you want to learn more, I share on my Instagram page every day or every week. I'm posting some of these tips. So just go and follow me or DM me. I'm at KOG Speaks. But the biggest piece is scheduling that time for yourself, right? Because what we come to realize is that if it's not on the calendar, it won't happen. And a lot of people are probably thinking, well, I don't have time. You got 5 minutes in your schedule. And if you don't think you could find it, I'm gonna step on some toes here. I'm getting messy, but go and pull your screen time report. Stop going down a rabbit hole on Instagram. Instead, take that 5 minutes, let it be your time where you're gonna unplug from everything that beeps, that buzzes, and just take a pause. Even if that's just breathing, if it's taking a walk outside for 5 minutes, go and do something that's gonna pour back into you.
Awesome.
And can I just piggyback on that? Yes, and Kalia, that for me, what that brought up was there's something that I call the mindful minute. So the 5 minutes, yes. Mindful minute, even if you just have 60 seconds. Also, as an executive, I found that I would be overwhelmed with lots of different competing priorities. I'd do something called the 5 minute miracle, where I would just do something for 5 minutes, each of those things for 5 minutes. So maybe at the end of that 60 minutes, I touched on everything, and then I could feel a sense of accomplishment and less overwhelmed. So I think making these minute incremental rest breaks is the key.
Thank you all for everything that you have shared during this panel. I hope that those who are tuned in really enjoyed everything that was shared, that will just remind you to take care of yourself and to rest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Awesome. So I want you guys to let me know in the chat, what is your biggest takeaway from the Rest is Resistance panel discussion? That was amazing. So I'm excited. We have so much more in store. So now I want to introduce our Release and Reflect Journal Workshop with Shanti Refuge. And as we wait for Shanti to arrive, go ahead and light up our chat. Go ahead and light up a chat. How are you doing? How are you enjoying our wild event today? We want to know, so we want and welcome your feedback. Again, we want to thank all of our sponsors who have partnered with us today for this amazing event. We have the Alternate Path here as well, our spa party. And so again, we're super excited. So for all of our sponsors, thank you so much. We're excited that you've partnered with us to bring awareness to rest, to wellness, and making sure that we as Black women are taking care of ourselves. And so we're excited about that. And I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, because again, we have so much more in store. We have more panels. We have an amazing roundtable. I won't give it all away, but we have incredible things just in store. Awesome. All right, keep lighting up the chat, ladies. Keep lighting up the chat and let us know what you're enjoying so far. Well, I want to share a couple of my takeaways as well. And so I'll share a little bit because I was taking some notes earlier today when we were talking about some of the wellness, I don't say routines, but some things that we can incorporate in our daily routines. And so breath work was a big takeaway for me. Personally, when I've dealt with anxiety, that has been helpful. So just want to encourage you guys, breath work, setting boundaries, right? Meditating, even some tea, right? So we have some amazing takeaways that we can start implementing in our daily lives and routine as well. Awesome, awesome. Again, keep dropping in the chat your nuggets and your takeaways from today's event so far. All right, so I hope you guys are excited because again, we have our Release and Reflect Journal Workshop coming up. So I hope you are ready and excited as much as I am. And we are going to call up Shanti Refuge in just a moment. By the show of comments, is anybody into journaling? I know I am, and so this workshop is going to be for you. And if you haven't done it yet, then this is something that you'll be introduced to. So it's going to be really exciting, and I'm sure we'll have some amazing takeaways from this segment as well. Welcome, Shanti.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, we're so excited.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone involved. So I've been on the other end as an audience member, and the information If y'all have heard me back here hollering, like, yes, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Shanti, the floor is yours. We're so excited.
All right, well, let's get this party started. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is where you are. I am Shanti Refuge. I am a award-winning master certified mental health coach, mental health advocate, keynote speaker, and author. And I am here to talk to you all about journaling and how it works and how it helps you and how it is a form of rest and mental health. Let's see, pulling up my notes. So first, before we begin, I want you to, if you are able to, and if you feel safe, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to sit comfortably, take a slow, deep breath in and through your nose, as much as you can take in and out through your mouth. One more time, in and go deeper this time, in and out. All right, so now as we begin, I want you to remind yourself that I am safe to let go. So keep that in your mind as I'm going through this. So first, I want to let you know that, I spent years being the strong one, holding it all in, smiling through breakdowns, pouring into people while I was silently drowning. And it wasn't until I ended up at my primary care doctor's office in 2018 that I realized that holding it in was literally killing me. And, I want you all to know that we were not meant to carry everything, even though, our mothers and grandmothers made it seem like that's what it was supposed to be. Like, okay, we're supposed to be doing all of this, suck it up. Your feelings don't matter. You deal with that later. You have to take care of this, and this. And I'm here to tell you that, it might have worked for them, maybe, or maybe not back then, but it definitely is not working for us right now. And so many of us have been praised for being unbreakable. But I want you to know that strength that costs you your peace is too expensive. So I want to ask you, what does it look like to release even if nothing gets fixed today? Reflect on this question. Where has holding it in shown up in your body, in your habits, and your joy? If you're always doing this or saying my neck is tight, my shoulders are tight, my joints are hurting, you're holding stuff in that you need to let out. So we're gonna write through that. So I hope you have your pens and your journals, because that's what this is. This is a journaling workshop. And if you don't, that is fine. I prefer pen and paper, but if you are doing it electronically, or you can even put it in the chat if you feel safe. This is a safe space. But I want you to recognize, where holding it in is showing up in your body. So the first prompt, and I'm going to put it in the chat as well. I hope everyone can see it. The first prompt that we're going to go through is, what are you holding that was never yours to carry? What are you holding that was never yours to carry? What are you holding that was never yours to carry? And again, you don't have to answer out loud or in the chat, but answer that. What are you holding on to? And I'm going to give you a second to respond to that or think about that or reflect on that. And the purpose of these prompts is for you to put it on the page instead of carrying it in your chest. So again, what are you holding on to that was never yours to carry? And only you know the answer to that, because you're living your life. But who are you living it for? I see y'all. Other people's problems and burdens, put it down. Now, I'm keeping it PG today. Lakeisha, but you know how I do. Put that down. It's not yours. The loss of a loved one. I understand that. I do. Put it down, girl. Put it down. It's not yours. All right. The second prompt I have for you, now that you have, and I'm proud of you for even acknowledging it and being honest with yourself to say, this is what I'm holding on to now. Next question. What would you say if your healing could talk? Oh, baby, Stacey Thomas, honey. I feel you, because people are not nice these days, but that's not yours to carry. You know, other people being rude and having a lack of respect has nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing. It's a them problem. So why are you carrying that, sis? And this is where boundaries come in. If people are being rude and having a lack of respect towards you, put your boundaries up and stand on them. Don't get away. Get away. Sorry, my 5-year-old just wants to, she hear me talking. I ain't been talking all morning, and she in here hearing me talking, so now she wants to talk to me. Yep, me too with my family. Yeah, I love my family to death, but I love them from a distance, so I get it. So the next prompt is, what would you say? What would you say if your healing could talk? If your healing could talk, what would you say? And what would it ask for? And what would it remind you of? Absolutely. Protect your space, protect your peace, protect your space, protect you all day, every day. Choose you all day, every day. And those who don't like it, again, that's a them problem, not a you problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. Trust God. Yes, indeed. Thank you for answering. I am so happy that y'all are sharing. Thank you. So now that you have answered that, now I want you to get still again, get out the journal, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine placing everything you just wrote or you just put in the chat, all that heaviness. I want you to put it in a container, a box, a bowl, whatever it may be, whatever you're envisioning. Or maybe you place it in a river and watch it float away. You too, Lakeisha. And now I want you to breathe with me. Inhale and say to yourself, I acknowledge it. Exhale and say, I release it. And do it again. Inhale, say to yourself, I acknowledge it. Exhale, I release it. Francesca, your healing is screaming at you to prioritize yourself. Absolutely. Prioritize yourself. And I want, for anyone who is thinking that you choosing yourself, you prioritizing yourself, if any one of you think that is selfish, good, because it is. And it's okay to be selfish. Perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay to choose you. And the people who understand will stick around and they will respect that. And the people who benefited from you not choosing you, oh, they're going to be mad. But guess what? They could go. No, your healing is saying, girl, yes, choose yourself. Absolutely. Because how can you be any good to anyone else if you are not good to yourself? That's the same as saying, I love this person, but you don't love yourself. No, you can't. You have to do it first. It is a must that you choose yourself first. And again, like I said, the people who understand, they will be around and they will respect that. The people who benefited from using you, asking you for stuff, stretching you, and making you tired and wore out, oh, they're going to be upset. But guess what? They're going to go find somebody else to do it because you're not available for that anymore. And don't be afraid to say no. No is a complete sentence. I know y'all have heard this, and it's not easy at first. I could tell you myself, the first time I had to tell my mama no, oh my God, I thought I was going to die because I didn't think I had permission to tell her no. Like, that's your mama. You can't tell her no. I tell her no every chance I get. The first time was hard and I cried, but then those no's got easier. No, absolutely not. I'm not available for that. No. So yes, absolutely. Exactly. No. And say it with your chest. Yes. Stacey said, if I learn not to care, don't care, because this is your life. You only get one to live. And we were not made to be on this earth just surviving. That's not God. That's not what God meant for us to be. We were supposed to be here thriving, being happy, having joy and peace and all this great stuff. But how can we have that if we're not taking care of ourselves? Like, that don't make sense. So yes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Fill your cup. Literally, picture a cup. Fill it up, and whatever is trickling over, that's what you get them other people. You make sure your cup is full and running over. Not halfway. No, you keep your cup full, whatever that looks like to you. Whatever, whether it's journaling, reading, spa days, investing in your mental health. You're doing it now, prioritizing yourself. So I'm glad you're here. Yeah, we can't do that. Even if we have, and I don't want to hear, I got a baby at home, I got kids at home. If you know me, you know what I'm about to say next. And if not, you better ask Lakeisha. Prioritize you. How can you take care of a kid if you're no good? Yes, I understand. Kid, just like my little niece just came in here, and we had a whole conversation before I got on here. Nanny is working. I need you to be quiet. Blah, blah, blah. If you be good, I'll give you some candy. Okay. And as soon as she heard me in here talking, here she come wanting a kiss. Girl, get away from me. And she'll get all the kisses when we're done. Boundaries. Set boundaries and prioritize yourself. So we're going to reflect on who you are without the weight. You are not what hurt you. You are not what they called you when they were hurting. Because when people, hurt people. But you are not what they called you when they were hurting. You are healing and you are becoming. And with that, here's another prompt. It is, who am I becoming as I heal? What does she feel like? How does she speak to herself? And what does she know now? Y'all better take these prompts and copy them and paste them somewhere for after this is over with. Because you might need to revisit them a few times. Who am I becoming as I heal? What does she feel like? How does she speak to herself? What does she know now? Because if you have not started your healing journey or you're just at the beginning of it, baby, this healing ain't no joke. I have been in my healing journey since 2018 and I am still healing. Healing is a journey. They call it a journey for a reason because it is. You're going to have your good days, your bad days, and you have to learn how to keep going through that. I love it. Lakeisha said, I am becoming the best version of myself, bold and confident, living yes, you better, because you deserve that. You absolutely deserve that. So thank you for sharing that. And if anyone else wants to drop a word in the chat, I would love to hold space for that. I know we have people on Facebook and I cannot see what you're saying, but I will go back and revisit the comments and I will respond. Come on, confident, creative, and whole. Yes. You better. I speak to myself with grace and love. Yes. You better, because if you don't do it, you think somebody else is going to do it? Because people could read you from a mile away and they can see, oh, she's not confident. And either someone is going to maybe speak life into you and say, girl, you don't know what you got on you. Come on, step into your power. Or you're going to have someone to try to manipulate you, and you don't want that. So you have to pour into yourself. And that's a way to look in the mirror at yourself and say, affirm yourself. I am becoming the best version of myself. I am becoming a confident, creative, whole person. I speak to myself with grace and love, and do that, even if you don't believe it at first. But repetition, being consistent. After a while, baby, ain't nobody gonna be able to tell you nothing. I promise you that. You have to stay consistent, even on your worst days. All right, so now let's talk about rest as a sacred act. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you get your rest like you should. All right, baby, because I love me a good nap. I might go have one later on the day. Rest is very important. Yes, I love that. Love that. Now drop a 2 if you don't get your rest. I know that's right. Because I remember I used to say that, oh, I ain't taking no naps for babies. Baby, call me a baby because I take my nap. It's almost as if I thought I was going to miss something. Yes, they are. It's the most beautifulest thing. Love a good nap. Yes, I'm proud of y'all. So y'all know what y'all doing. Rest is not a luxury. Rest is a birthright. And as Black women, rest was never built into our survival plan, right? Because you ain't supposed to be resting. You're supposed to be out here working and doing something. We were taught to hustle, to help, to carry, to fix. But what if your softness is sacred? Because it is. What if rest is how you remember who you are? Do you know who you are if you're not resting? No. Because how can you if you are running around doing everything and being everything to everyone except for yourself? So I want you to reflect on this question. How do you want rest to feeling? And I'm just talking about naps, but chilling, watching TV. Right now I'm on Netflix, The Hunting Wives. Have me in the chokehold right now. So that's how I rest. Yes, absolutely. How do you want rest to feel in your life? Resting to realign, yes. Okay, if I ain't gonna do nothing else, I'm going to lay down. Absolutely. Very well. Valerie said, I don't worry about what others think about me. You can't. Yes, Lord, you can't please everyone, but so don't try. I show up and show out after nap whenever I can get it in. Take more naps. But I love that for you. Take more naps. So I have one last question for you. What does my peace require of me right now? So in order for you to be at peace, what does it require of you? Is it changing who you're hanging around, changing who you're letting, have your energy? Everyone shouldn't be able to have access to you. I don't care who they are, how long you've known them, which I used to do, where I used to go. Absolutely. Your peace requires boundaries. And when you say boundaries, if you don't know what your boundaries are, I suggest that you write them down, because how can you know what your boundaries are and how, in order to be able to stand on them? First, you got to know what they are. Lakeisha. Yes, boundaries. Write down your boundaries. That way you will be able to share with the people. Don't expect anyone to read your mind and know what your boundaries are. Once you realize what your boundaries are, you go communicate those. These are my boundaries. If they don't like it, too bad. You better stand 10 toes down on it. Because just because you love someone or feel bad, don't feel bad about having boundaries. Because people who stand on their boundaries don't feel bad about someone not liking them. Too bad. Your boundaries are not only for them, it is for you, mainly for you, to preserve yourself. So my last thing I got for you is I want you to write one sentence that you want to speak over your life this week. One sentence. And I want you to, think about that sentence you want to speak over your life and say it every day. Like I said, I love saying no. I say it before yes, and then sometimes I go, yeah. And that's fair. That is absolutely fair. I would rather you give a slow yes than a fast one. Like, oh, Lakeisha, can you come over here and do my hair? And Lakeisha heard me say, yeah. Don't do that. That's how you get overwhelmed. Let me think about it. Let me get back to you on that. You don't have to give a fast yes to anybody. I don't care who they are, whether it be your manager, somebody at work, a co-worker, a family member, a friend, a boo, whoever it is, a kid. Slow yes. Come back. I'll get back to you on that. That's my favorite line. I don't care who it is. I'll get back to you on that. And think about it. So as we wrap up, I have some affirmations for y'all, and I'm going to put them in the chat, and I'm going to read them. The first one is, I am allowed to be still. Come on, every woman. Be every woman to yourself. We all every woman. Be every woman to yourself. Affirmations. I am allowed to be still. I don't have to earn peace. I am peace. Letting go is how I make room to grow. And I want y'all to say this and repeat it. I don't care if you don't believe it the first time you hear your voice saying it. Just say it and repeat it. I am allowed to be still. I don't have to earn peace. I am peace. Letting go is how I make room to grow. Baby, I got the affirmations for you. So before we close, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for trusting me to guide you through the sacred pause. I want you to take, I always give homework. I don't care where I am and who I'm talking to. You got homework. Tonight, I want you to take 10 minutes and just be. Stare at the ceiling, play your favorite song, light a candle, and let yourself exist without a to-do list. That's rest. That is healing. So if today stirred something in you and you want support, I would love to walk with you. I have guided journals that are available, and I offer support groups and coaching for women who are ready to stop surviving and start healing. And you can find me at my website, shantirefuge.com, or on IG at Shanti Refuge Journals. And I love y'all deeply. I don't care if I ain't never met you or saw your face. I love y'all. Keep releasing, keep reflecting, and above all, rest well.
Oh, thank you so much, Auntie. That was good. It's nothing like getting the thoughts out of your head and onto paper. And sometimes it just releases. You feel a little bit better. I always share, growing up, we had diaries. We got to bring diaries back. Back. So thank you so much. That was so good.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, friends, I hope you have been enjoying today. Be sure to follow the amazing speakers. We are now going into our therapist circle, okay? We are talking about burnout and boundaries. So help me welcome to the stage Dr. Brittany Collins, Ashley Harris, and Lashana West. Good afternoon, good morning, depending where you are. How you doing, ladies?
Hello. How are you?
So we got a lot to cover. And I'm excited because I love talking about mental health and burnout and all those things. So here we go. We ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So our first question, as we've been hearing of this burnout and even compassion fatigue, how would you say Black women can recognize it before hitting their breaking point? We're going to just hit it straight shooting. We're going to start with, let's go with Lashana.
Sure thing. Hello, everybody. I want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Perfect. So I'll be honest with you, for those that have read the book, The Body Keeps a Score, that's not a cliche. I think that our body will tell us what's going on before anything else. And so when you're having headaches and body ailments, pain, and even fatigue, increased hunger, decreased hunger, that's like a red flag that's saying, hey, Lashana, something's going on. And I think because a lot of us are in that hustle mode, we ignore that because we've always been able to just kind of compartmentalize it and keep going. And what happens is when it comes to a crisis where you just can't do anything else, that's when we will kind of have an awakening. But I like to be more proactive than reactive. And that's catching things while it's small so you can go ahead and get the support that you need.
Catching things while it's small, so important. Dr. Brittany, what would you say?
Yeah, I agree with everything LaShawna said. I think a lot of times we don't realize that our body will let us know what's going on if we really just pay attention to it. Becoming overwhelmed, when you notice when you start something and you're super excited about it, and then all of a sudden you start to become adjusted to chaos or toxicity in the workplace or in the home or whatever, relationship, whatever you may have. And then you start to lose the motivation, you start to lose interest in things that you once were interested in. Those are really great indicators that you're starting to get burnt out for whatever reason, right? But I think that those are some things that we can look at to see that those are warning signs.
So true, so true. Ashley has come in with these glasses on, so I know she can clearly see when she's getting burned out. Can you help us out? What would you add to that question of how can we recognize it before getting to that breaking point?
I know for me, a lot of times is when I have a lot of anxiety and I'm overthinking and I can't sleep. So a lot of times I know and I need to pause. And a lot of times as a therapist, I always teach my clients that to do like a self check-in. So every morning I check in with myself, and if I'm feeling off, I will cancel my entire day, because I know a big part of being a therapist is I'm holding space. And I'm also an oldest daughter, so I'm big on, I take care of everybody, but I tend to take care of myself. So I'm big on asking myself, like, am I showing up for myself today? Am I working on where I'm at, and how can I show up for myself? So I will wake up and really check in with myself. And I know if my anxiety is on 10, then it's a day for me to lay down and to really like be at home and really be with my son or be with nature, or just turn off from like social media and different things.
I like it. You got to turn off from social media. Sometimes it will wear you out. But I like that part of the check-in, right? I always share, like, that's why we have PTO. Prepare the others. You can't come in today. You want to check in with yourself, because if you're having an off day and you're going to work, it could be your last day. Don't do that. You like where you live, I promise. You like the luxuries that you have. So that's really important. I like this. A bonus question, because sometimes I think we get into like a survival mode, right? So how can we realize that we're in a survival mode to know too? We need to like, oh, nope, I'm just doing this mechanical and not even feeling what I'm doing. Who wants to take that one?
Yeah, so I'll jump in. I feel like that when we're on autopilot and like a robot. And this is the thing. We may have had to do that to survive in the past. But in 2025, when you have people literally getting paid to do what they love to do, there's no excuses. I'm actually 5 years clean from corporate. And I phrase it that way because we can get addicted to get the degree, get the good job, get the PTO, get the 401k, get the title. Well, what about you? And what I realized is that I was not being maximized to my fullest potential. And even when I tried to apply for different roles or talk to my supervisor, nothing changed. And so I created my own lane. And that has literally not only freed up my hustle and grind, but it's also freed up my bank account to where I realized that when it comes to creating revenue, there's no ceiling. And so what I would say is think about what you truly, truly love to do, that you love to do it so much that you'll do it for free, and monetize it. That way you always have a backup plan when things are not going your way or when you feel like you need an outlet.
Yeah, I mean, our brain naturally responds to trauma in a way, and it puts us into survival mode. But I am a big purpose-driven person. And when I've realized that as long as I'm operating in my purpose, or as long as I'm aligned with my purpose, I really do feel as if I am at my highest peak. And so I, as a therapist, I try to teach my folks how to identify with that. Because naturally, when we are experiencing something, our amygdala, which is our alarm system, it brings something to make us feel as if we need to pause, right? It doesn't even matter what it is. It puts us on high alert, constantly scanning for some form of threat. And then it also talks to our prefrontal cortex and also our hippocampus. I'm not going to go into all of that, but I like to talk about those things even in trainings that I have, because what we might think is a behavior that is unnatural to many, it's really just survival. And so instead of us going from that telling people, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't act like that. We have to learn how to rewire our brain from survival into thriving, so that we can learn to connect with what's really there for us.
Yeah, it's good.
Ashley, I'm sorry, can you ask a question too? Because when you were talking, my computer froze.
No worries. We're talking about survival, right? So we're realizing that we're at the breaking point possibly, but we kind of got caught up in survival mode and just mechanically moving through the things of life and thinking it's good.
And I know for me, like part of survival is always being on go, always going constantly, and understanding that I don't always need to have something going on to be productive. And I think that's also for me is tied into like self-worth. And I understand that part of self-worth is also rest. And it doesn't have to be a long agenda of things. Sometimes like it really is me just sitting on the couch reading a book, or it's just me just sitting in silence. And that constant go thing is part of that survival. And part of thriving is rest. Part of thriving is checking with self. Part of thriving is silence. Part of thriving is just pausing. And it doesn't have to always be that grind culture, because that is very unhealthy. Like I can get stuff done, but I also could be productive and taking care of myself as well.
You know, this feels like a good back to school workshop, because we're talking about naps and how we need to take some rest, how we have to set our boundaries on these things. I hope that we all are taking notes. We have a lot of homework to do, friends, but it's all good. My next question is, in your work, which strategies would you recommend for establishing healthy personal, professional boundaries, especially when like external pressures are high? You know, sometimes we don't always know how to say no, or we feel like we got to explain. So what would you recommend to help us as we're going into this next season of life, to be able to establish those, whether personal or professional?
I can go first. Delegation of tasks. I know when I first started my business, I was trying to do everything. I was trying to do my social media. I was trying to do my website. I was trying to managing like my billing. And what I realized, it was a hot mess. And there was one day where I was doing a working lunch and I was submitting some claims. I ended up missing something and I missed out on getting paid $1,000. So I realized I needed to hire a biller. I pay someone to do my social media. You know, I pay if I could hire someone I could afford, it's within my budget, I will delegate tasks out, especially when it's a high energy task and it's a low joy task. And I do things that I focus on things in my business that are like low energy, high joy. Like I could record a reel for my social media page, but to edit it, it's not for me. So I find somebody else to do it. So I found that has helped with burnout, has helped with being overwhelmed, has also helped with making errors within my business.
I like that. I heard somebody once say pay for peace, you know, so don't stretch yourself out. You want to be able to flow and do it. So pay for peace. All right, Lashana, Dr. Brittany.
Yeah, I'll add, I tell my clients to always assess people, places, and things that don't serve you 25/8, like the young kids say, because when you find yourself around people who are always pulling and you're always pouring, my question is, who's pouring into you? Because we know nobody's coming to save us. And so when we are conscientious 24/7 about what we're doing, is this busy work? Is this results driven where I'm doing this, and this just to get paid? The money's going to come. Money is energy. The question is, are you happy when you lay down at night? Are you enjoy, like Ashley said, when you're doing the things that you're doing? And if the answer is no, I just want us all to know that we can get paid very well to do what we love without sacrificing ourselves and our health in the process. So like, I love this question because this is literally what I do as a business therapist and mindset coach. And I think ultimately it's giving yourself permission to do what you want to do and not caring about what everybody else's opinion is.
Yeah. I personally believe that boundaries, I think we have to first understand what boundaries are. And a lot of times people don't really get to, they don't implement it well or execute it well because they don't know what it is. And they think that it's a way to try and control folks. And it's not. Boundaries are for us. It's for the person that's setting it up. And I try to let people know that it's almost like a gate that's surrounding you to protect your access, to protect your peace. And I am big on delegation. Like Ashley said, I learned that the hard way. We put on this superwoman cape and think that we have to do it all, regardless if that's because of what we saw in the past or because of what we feel like we don't have now. So really just understanding, like Lashana said, I literally just said it this morning. Nobody's coming to save you, Brittany. Nobody's coming to save you. Like, you're gonna have to figure it out pick it up. And as therapists, we experience these things too. We think that we get into new relationships or we get into new situations or new opportunities and that things are going to magically happen and be okay. And it might not be that way. And so we have to learn how to know what is execute what's in place that works for us, put those things into place to help us. And then also, I know that people say that no is a complete sentence, but sometimes it's not. Like sometimes you really have to get to a place where you can say, no, I'm not going to do this because, and let people know what your boundary is and what the consequence or the reward is, right? So if you don't respect my boundary, then I'm going to diminish the access that you have to my life. Mm-hmm. And you have to execute that in a way to where when they disrespect your boundary, then you put that into place so that they understand. It's just like they're saying, we teach people how to treat us. And if we don't treat ourselves right, how are we able to teach people how to do that? And boundary setting goes into rest. It goes into how we see ourselves, into self-worth, and all of those things are important.
Well, Dr. Brittany, you're being wild over there telling us that no is not a complete sentence all the time, right? Because that is not often professed, but sometimes you do have to get that, feedback of why it is a no. But also being careful, kids like, no, because I don't have anybody watch my kids. But I watch your kids and then you don't show up, then I'm upset because I told you yes, because you told me it's going to help out. So also having your boundaries in the no and that explanation as well. So that's good.
Yeah, and if you guys don't mind, I would like to add one more thing. I like what Dr. Brittany said, because this is the thing. When we give our rationale or our reason behind the no, it's you activating your voice. It's not for them
exactly.
So they can understand. It's for you to get it out of your head and into the universe, because a lot of people struggle with people pleasing. And if I just say no, but I don't be able to release the why, then that's going to stay here, which then can turn into drugs, sex, and rock and roll, because you're not letting it be released. So whatever your perception is around your boundary, it doesn't matter. All it matters is to you.
You being wild too. I see you. You got some more wildness you want to add to the pot?
A lot of times with boundaries too, it is uncomfortable, but I also teach clients to sit with uncomfortability, but I also teach them to say themselves, like before they set a boundary, is like, by me saying yes to this for somebody, am I saying no to something for myself? And really to understand that it's about yourself, and it's okay that someone doesn't, like Dr. Brittany said, it's okay if someone doesn't follow your boundaries. It's more for you to know that that's a gate, that's your hard stop. It's not about the other person, because people are always going to react to your boundaries. They're always going to have a negativity because they're mad because they no longer have access to you. That gate is open.
So in all of this, what role do you say that therapy plays? We get like these booster shots where we feel like we're good, but sometimes we need that continual work to really process some things, because we didn't know that we were harmed and abused just throughout the word trauma, and sometimes trauma becomes a natural thing. It's like, it's not traumatic. That's just how it's supposed to be, and it's not, right? Depending on what the situation is. So how does therapy play a role in this? I want you to do like a pitch of why somebody should possibly connect today with therapy if needed.
Yeah, I can go because I love this is probably one of the topics that I talk about the most, is boundary and self-care. And not just with entrepreneurs, but just with people in life who are just struggling. I think that therapy, we have to understand that therapy is just a tool. It's not a magic potion. It's not a pill that's going to get everything. Like, the work that you put in to therapy is what you're going to get out. And I tell all of my clients that. I tell them at the beginning, look, I'm just a passenger in the car of whatever your favorite car is, and I'm here to ride this thing along. I'll help you navigate there, but I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to give you advice, right? Because I want to empower them to know that I'm not going to always be here. And so teaching them that autonomy, or giving them the empowerment to be autonomous in the beginning, sets the tone. And then in therapy, what we're doing is we're exploring, we're unpacking a whole bunch of things that might get in the way, that they may not think, things that they may think is normal because that's what they've seen all their life. Things that they have become accustomed to because that's what's happened to, because of things that has happened to them. And from that, what I do is I pick it apart so that they can see that they have the power over it, and that thing doesn't have power over them. Learn how to set those boundaries accordingly to get the results that they want. And then also implementing self-care, knowing that rest is really just a state or a period that reduces any activity or an engagement that is designed to allow them to recover. And sleep and rest is not the same thing. Sleep is a form of rest, right? And so because we have this time where we're sleeping, we may not be in a place to where we're able to get things done. But it does give us a place to get to, it gives us a place to allow our body to just relax. But you can be awake and you can rest. You can walk in purpose and rest. And I use an example in the Bible because I asked this question to some people, like, are you waiting well? Resting well? Because when Jesus was at the well with the Samaritan woman, he was still on assignment, but he needed to rest his body because of where he has come from, what he was doing with all his ministries. And I was like, if Jesus can rest, surely I know I need to, right? And so I think that we just have to know how to put these things into place, looking at the physical, the mental, the spiritual, asking ourselves, are we doing things properly? Are we eating healthy? Are we getting enough sleep? Are we exercising our body? Are we learning how to delegate? Are we seeking support outside? Are we engaging in activities that really stimulate our mind? Those are things that that I implement in therapy to help, people grow and develop.
Now you in our business, Dr. Brittany, and that's what we came for. So thank you. Thank you. Because those are the questions and tough conversations we have to have with ourselves, right? Are we getting enough rest? Are we doing those things? Because we're trying to help everybody else to do that, and we're not doing it.
Right.
Oh, that's good. Someone else. Therapy, why somebody should possibly tap in.
I'll go ahead and share. I believe that therapy, wellness, holistic healing, whichever is your lane, should be just as a priority. Like when the kids go to school, they got to get their shots. They have to get their PCP appointment, the dental. There should be a line for wellness support, therapeutic support. And that helps us to be proactive versus reactive, like I talked about earlier. So the work that I do, I'm a business therapist and mindset coach. And so when I work with people, they usually struggle with imposter syndrome, worry, fear, doubt, the negative thinking, the stinking thinking that's stopping them from starting the business or even growing the business. And I help them to pinpoint what the root cause is. And then we heal while we build. That's the name of my business, Healing While Building. And that's literally what we're all doing, whether you're a parent, whether you're in corporate, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, or you're a side hustler, because nobody is exempt to healing. And when you are in the mental health realm, whether you're a therapist, holistic healer, I believe more times than not, we chose the lane because we have our own resiliency story that we were able to come out of, and we want to help people to stop the cycle. So I think that you got to find who your match is. I don't care these big names on social with these large followings. That's cute and everything, but that might not be your vibe. It's okay to go on Psychology Today or growth therapy or whatever entity you want and find someone who aligns with your vision, your values, and even your temperament. Because if I'm an introvert and I go and get this extroverted coach, healer, or therapist, there's probably going to be a disconnect. And I think many times when there's a disconnect, we just throw in the towel and say, oh, therapy is not for me. Well, as long as when we get our nails done and we want to get the perfect person to do our nails or the perfect wig installer or sew-in person, you're probably doing your due diligence to see who's the best, right? So why not do your due diligence to try and see who's the best when it comes to helping you with your mental health? So regardless of who you choose, you need to go to somebody so you have support.
Oh, wow. You did drop. You did drop. Come on, Ashley. What you got?
So for me, I feel like therapy is part of a lifestyle, and it's also part of healing, and it's also part of, especially for the Black community, how we go from survival to thriving. And a big part of thriving is identifying things that maybe don't feel so good. And also part of therapy is, I'm big on making it your own. I meet my clients exactly where they're at. And sometimes healing is us going for a walk. Sometimes healing is playing music. Sometimes healing is sitting in silence. And there's so many different ways to heal. And it's like very important to just really just make it your own. And also sometimes clients all automatically think I think Lashana was saying that therapy, sometimes you have to find your match. Therapy is kind of like dating. You have to interview a couple different therapists. You have to try different things, and there's so many different types. But also healing is also going to church. Healing is also taking walks with nature. There's mindfulness. There's so many different ways to heal. And I think a lot of people are afraid to do it because they think it has to look a certain way. And it's also, a lot of us therapists are not sterile. We're not, we're not sitting in a chair across from you. Sometimes I'm sitting on the ground with my clients. I'm meeting them at the mall. We're doing so many different forms. And it's really like just understanding that it's a unique process.
I like that. I like the part of really vetting to see if that's a match for you. But I also share with people, if they are challenging you and you don't like it, that doesn't mean you're supposed to lead them. You're supposed to get challenged a little bit. It's not going to always be what you wanted to be. So don't be just leaving, because you're going to go to the next person and be like, what did you do? Da, 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 or what you said you wanted to do. And you're like, oh, you trying to hold me accountable? Stay there, sweetie. Stay there.
Yeah. And Jennifer, before you go on, if I may, they may challenge you, but I also feel like it's about presentation. And as a therapist, we're trained to use empathy and confrontation in a specific approach where they don't feel threatened. So there is a time where there's some people whose presentation is not what it should be.
For sure.
I think that there's a delicate dance with having discernment without enabling yourself and running away every time things don't feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is so good. I wish I could go on. I got one more question because we got to wrap up. But y'all make sure y'all follow these ladies. They drop some good gems. My last question is, what are some simple but effective self-care practices that can be incorporated into our daily lives to help us maintain emotional and mental health? And I know that's a loaded question, but if we can get a 1 minute from you, each of you, that'd be greatly appreciated. Of some simple practices we could incorporate starting today. Dr. Brittany.
Yeah, I would just say, I'll just say, do what you love. Do something that you love. I love to travel. Go out and refuel yourself. Making sure, like, if you at work, take a break away from work when you have your lunch break. Don't try to do a working lunch or anything like that. Just really taking care of yourself. I'll let the other ladies say something because I know we're short on time.
I second that.
I would have to say the power of check-in, asking yourself, what do I need today? Where am I leaking energy? What can wait? Like, really learn how to prioritize your day and just check in with self and have that conversation.
For me, it's solo dates. Whether you're in a relationship or you're single, get dressed, get cute, go to that restaurant or grab a book, go to the bookstore, have a solo date with you, because at the end of the day, a lot of times we're exerting so much energy, whether we're on social scrolling or whether we're talking to someone. Right now, this is exerting energy. And because I'm an empath, I'm going to have to go and decompress after this, right? But if I'm not doing my solo dates at off times and on times, then we're running away from what we say that we love. So #solo date. You should do one today.
I'm going to take that advice. I'm going to do one today. I like this. Y'all in my tribe, I always like talking to fellow therapists and those that are in the world of coaching and trying to help people be the best version of themselves. I got to follow you all. Y'all make sure y'all follow them. This was really good. We got like 1 minute left. Can you just share with us how they can follow you, what your hashtag is, or make sure you put it in the comments so that people can follow you today?
Sure, because my name is my hashtag. It's @LaShauna West on all things social. I literally live on Instagram. That's where I'll be sharing every single day. But it's @LaShauna West on all things social.
Awesome, thank you.
Mine is at BC Speaks. That's BCSPEAKS, or at Ahava Counseling, and you can see Ahava in the bottom of that part, and on all socials.
Awesome. And mine is peaceful.mind.counseling at Instagram.
I love it. I thank you all so very much. I'm really going to follow you on Harass a little bit. And I want y'all to follow and harass me a little bit, because sometimes we need that input from somebody else. We hear from people around us, but when we hear from somebody they won't talk to that often, like, because when she said sleep and rest aren't the same thing, I was like, you're right. It's not the same thing. And sometimes we need that. So I hope y'all enjoyed this amazing panel, the therapist circle, burnout and boundaries. Oh, and I did my time good. Look at us. I love it. Y'all have a good day. Go on and solo day. Bye. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Friends, I hope you did enjoy that panel. That was really good. Rest and sleep aren't the same thing. And then at high energy, low energy, we got to evaluate ourselves and see what's going on. So good. All right. So now we have our little breakout. I want to ask you a question. A little audience participation. Can you come to the comments for me, please? When did you first feel wild? When did you first feel wild? And while you're coming up with your thinking of, when you first felt wild, I looked up wild women today because I wanted to say, like, what is a wild woman, right? And it said that the wild woman most often describes a woman who embodies independence, authenticity, and a strong connection to her instincts. It's not about being reckless or uncivilized, but rather embracing one's true nature and living authentically, even if it means challenging society's norms. So again, in the comments, drop down, when did you first feel wild? Huh? I think for me, it probably was a couple years ago. I was like, you know what? Is this what I want? Is this what Jennifer wants to do? Or is she just going along with the things of life? You know, she's supposed to do it that way. So again, when did you first feel wild? I'll give you a couple seconds. Drop them down in the comments. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, yes. I've been in the comments today. I like it. I like it. All right. I know some of you are possibly doing your chores, but you got this going on in the background. Come on over and give us a comment of when did you first feel wild? All right, we got one. I first felt wild back in 2018 when I stopped being a people pleaser. Now that was not always easy, huh? Because we're trying to help everybody, but we don't have to keep on pleasing the people, especially if it's not pleasing us, okay? Time with Ty. Mother's Day, 11 years ago, 2014. It's something about knowing that date. Because when that anniversary comes, you're like, I'm feeling good. You get to reevaluate. Am I still doing good? Am I still feeling free? Can I still keep on going in this thing called life? I am Stacey Thomas. When I wrote my first book and readers started following and talking to me, congratulations on your first book. Means that you might have more out now, but congratulations on that. When we step out, you know, writing a book, who's going to read it? Who's going to buy it? But then they get it and they start talking to you and saying how it has impacted their lives, how it has encouraged them, and then start following you because they want to hear more from what it is that you're doing. I like it. Lakeisha, 2 years ago, when I was diagnosed with high functioning depression and decided I wanted to share it with others to let them know they are not alone. And it's so important that we do not, that we know that we're not alone in this journey. Sometimes we feel like it's our own diagnosis, it's our own walk. But guess what? There's somebody else that's going through it too. And there's power in community. When you get to share, you get to hear how other people do a good job. There's a lot of groups on Facebook where you can come along amongst your community. I know for like diets and things of that sort, you know, healthy living, exercises and things. You come to that community, you find out, oh, these are some things I could do. And though everything doesn't work specifically for you, you can find what does work for you. Anybody else? When did you first feel wild? Got a couple more moments. Also, a good time to run to the restroom if needed. As Vince said earlier, we get some breaks in between. But when you come back, share with us when you first felt wild. Yes, I did share my woman. Again, a couple years ago, I think. So I'm in the 40s. I know I don't look it. I'm young. We all are young. We age gracefully. But I really found out who Jennifer was. And I really stopped, again, doing that people pleasing. I stopped doing the things that other people wanted me to do. And I found out how I could be the best version of me. If it brings me joy, I want to do more of that. I started protecting my peace, you know, because sometimes we give people chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, and then we'll have no more fingers. It was like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this, right? So again, it could be overwhelming, but when we find out, hey, I gotta choose me because it's only me, we can make it happen. Yes. Hey, I'm Stacey. Yes, you can follow me at Jen_Harris on Instagram or Google Jennifer Harris. She does come up. Somebody, Tiana Taylor has a song, Google me, baby. Google me, friends. Yes, SwagHer. About a year ago when I said F social media because I was burnt out. Baby, social media can burn you out, okay? Everybody's giving comments and sharing things, and though it is their right to share it, you don't have to apply it because that doesn't mean that that's your story to tell, okay? Don't be upset from those social media. They're going to do those things, but you be confident in who you are. All right, I'm turning it now over to the SwagHer Roundtable with moderator Davis. Go ahead, girl, do your thing.
Hey, thank you, Jennifer. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the SwagHer Roundtable with myself, Anya T.M. Davis, CEO of Lady CEO LLC. Have you been enjoying this time so far?
I have been listening, jotting down notes, getting confirmation on so many things that I that I already put in place, and gathering information on things that I can do better with, right? So while we wait on the other three ladies to join us, two ladies to join us, um, drop in the chat. Tell us what you are most excited about right now. I know once we get some information, we tend to get more and more excited. Oh, there y'all go. I have a 1-year-old, and just like Shantae, you tell them be quiet, and then they start coming. So, anyway, we have Fancy of SwagHer Magazine. We have Ms. Lakeisha of the LM Experience, and have Brianna Nicole of the Elmore Effect. Did I say that correctly?
The Enamor Effect.
Enamor Effect. Welcome, ladies.
Hi. Thank you.
All righty. I am excited to start this roundtable panel. Now, this panel is a dynamic collaboration conversation with entrepreneurs, creators, and community leaders about visibility, authenticity, and building a life that reflects your values. This panel brings together diverse voices to share strategies and lessons learned. Just wanted to give those that's in the audience what they will learn and what they're going to get out of this. All right. So my first question is, building visibility is essential, but it can sometimes lead to compromising one's values. How do we maintain authenticity in a world that demands visibility? Anyone can go.
Well, I'll go first as the visibility coach in here, I guess. So, I would have to say by sticking to our moral compasses, for one, knowing our values, for two. Like for me, for example, and I just happen to love F words, but for me, my values are faith, family, friends, and funds. And funds might sound a little something to some people, but let's be real, it's 2025. It's kind of be going up, we gotta be able to survive. And so with that being said, as I just as Jen just mentioned from my comment when I said F social media, because I was burnt out, like we really have to take the time to find our own paths, because as someone else just mentioned, what worked for one person may not work for everyone else. Mm-hmm. So even as a visibility coach, I think people oftentimes expect me to be online all the time. But last year, I just really decided that I was gonna do things my own way and show up when I wanted to, as opposed to like always trying to be on standby, always being on FOMO, having that FOMO, the fear of missing out on different things. And like, you're gonna miss things and not everything is for you again. So that's kind of like what helps me. And I always think to myself, like, I have two things to keep in mind. I know that I don't want to do any harm, like do no harm. And also make certain that I'm contributing to, the good in life. And so with those things in mind and my values, I've just kind of been able to create a framework that works for me. Now that framework may not work for everyone else, but it works well. And I think that those that are going to support you are going to be there for you regardless. They're going to understand that you're human, that you do need that time to yourself. And for me as a creative, I needed that time to be able to rest and create, basically, because as I said, I was getting burnt out. So that's just kind of how I look at things.
I would say for me, because I work as a life coach and I also work as a social media manager, so it kind of goes hand in hand for me. But I think for me, and rather than following trends, like you can follow them, but finding your own way to apply that to your own brand. So like, I just wouldn't do things just because they're trending on Instagram. Like if it doesn't align with what I'm doing, I'm just not going to do it. And if it doesn't align with my lifestyle at the moment, I'm not doing it either. So I just show up as myself all the time in that space. And I find a way to have boundaries with my content and still be able to tell my story, because of course there's some things you want to keep to yourself. or that, you know, you don't want to tell everything. Like there's something I'm going through right now. I'm not going to tell everybody, this is what I'm going through right now. No, I'll give my time to get through it. And then, you know, in my content, I'll be like, you know, even with the things I'm dealing with right now, just so I, you know, I don't feel like I'm faking anything, but just being honest with my audience and myself, honestly, is how I do it.
I love their responses, the moral compass, the oversharing. I think for me, the thing is the question, what is visibility? And what does that actually mean to you? Contrary to what a lot of people seem to think, I love my corporate job and I am going to keep it until I can no longer manage that and the two other businesses that I have. But in that, I get visibility. So what does that mean for me and my brand? What does that mean for my clients and their brands? I agree with Fancy. All, you know, visibility ain't good visibility. I align with a lot of brand partners who are about blessing lives and making a difference. So if your visibility goes against that moral compass of what that brand is, and that brand is the one that is facilitating how I take care of my business, then that's a visibility that I'm willing to miss out on, and I'm willing to risk having, because I don't want to compromise and jeopardize not just my own brand, ladies, but the brands of the people I'm connected to. I'm connected to SwagHer. I'm connected to Gladly. I'm connected to Make Simpler. If I choose a brand that goes against everything that these three brands symbolize or even personify, I've not only got myself visibility, but I got them visibility too. And it may not be the visibility that they want. So I think we have to think holistically about visibility. Is it just about the LM experience? Or is it about the LM experience and the people that the LM experience are connected to? Because we bleed on other people when we just say, oh, I want to be on, you know, I'm aging myself. Oh, let me do an ad for Freaknik, and that's not even out no more. Now, what that's going to do for my partners who don't have nothing to do with that, or who like, oh my gosh, you know, what happens? I think we just have to question, what is visibility and what does it mean to not only me, but my brand partnerships and the people that I'm connected to strategically.
I absolutely love y'all answers, and especially what you said, Lakeisha. And I think just bringing it all together, it's what's uniquely yours, what's authentic to you, and what visibility means to you. Because I'm kind of like Fancy. Let me tell y'all something. Last year, I took off social media from October to March. I think it was about February or March, because I needed to do that for myself. And I felt like God was telling me to move away, right? But that was authentically for me, and everything that I'm associated with, it just had to understand, because I needed that for myself, right? And we needed to know, you know, exactly, okay, I don't need to be visible on social media, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't working somewhere else doing other things. And I absolutely love how you say, Lakeisha, about just understanding who you're partnered with. Because so many times people are like, well, this is me and you got to take me for who I am and all these things. But no, if you want to get all these partnerships and be able to, you know, work with different people, you have to keep in mind what your niche is and what they have going on as well, and not misrepresent them. So I love that. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. My next question is, how do you align your personal values with your business or creative work? And how do you ensure they stay in harmony?
I would say for me, because my brand is so personal, and it is, you know, about transforming lives, I can't teach nobody else to do that if I ain't been through it first. So all of my curriculum came through things that I went through. So like the Enamour and my brand name is like an acronym for my steps in my program. So, and that was something I literally had to go through myself. I had to evaluate how I looked at myself, and I had to neutralize my experiences by giving people grace for certain things, or, you know, other expectations that I had for people. For like example, I used to be really, really mad with my parents, right? And I realized I was like, both my parents came from broken homes. So I had to be able to give them grace there. And then adopting, you know, new beliefs and magnify my relationship with God, always like that helped me do that. And operating out of the abundance that I have and reconciling those behaviors. So just being able to apply that to myself first. I just think a lot of people put stuff together, but they don't really apply those things to their lives, and it just doesn't come off authentically. It doesn't look like those are your values, and you're showing up one way here, but this is who you really are. And it just, if it doesn't align, then I don't think it's going to be profitable for you. I don't think you should be doing it just for the money. It really should be transformational overall.
Okay. Well, I would have to say, for me, as far as like I just shared what my personal values are, and then of course I am a creative, and with everything that I do, again, I try to make certain that for one of my other things that I like to really look at is I like to make people feel good, you know. And so with that being said, that is even how this whole event kind of came about, because I was really just thinking about others, and not just others, because I also realized for myself that I needed to rest, but it was that thought, like as a whole, we all as Black women needed more rest. And so that, and that idea of still making people feel good about themselves, you know, making Black women feel like they are whole, and then again, that not wanting to do any harm to others, only wanting to do good for other people, everything just kind of aligned and fell into place. And I'm really big on harmony. I know a lot of people talk about balance, but I oftentimes feel like, you know, you may not always be able to have equals on both sides of the fence, but you can definitely find that middle and meet in the middle to create that harmony.
Yeah, I love that piece. I think when we look at personal values, they are never lost, no matter what brand you are or you working with. A lot of us have personal and a business brand. I myself have 2 brands that I work with, but they coincide. There's harmony between the 2 of them, because I kind of hate the word balance, and I don't knock anyone who uses. There's no equal parts of anything. If I'm focused on the business, then if I was a wife, as a mom, as a grandma, all of those parts are left behind because I'm focused on the business. So I think when we put harmony together, it makes just more sense. But our personal values have to show up regardless of what brand that we are working with. Even if we're working with other people, those values have to show up. I have walked away, given money back, been deucing, like, peace out. Because if you are not in alignment with what I have and my personal values, because I got to live with that at night. And like Fancy just said, her goal is to help people. We all help people in some sense. If aligning with you and your creative work hurts or harms another group of people, I don't care who they are, I can't be a part of it. I just can't be a party to what that is. And I think too, you know, a lot of times I hear creatives, sometimes they're really reckless when they're like, well, this is my creative work and this is just whatever. And in the instance, you're really hurting people. You're making, you know, comments or innuendos that are not really true or could be harmful to another group of people. So I think we have to be very cognizant as we do personal creative work that we keep the values that we say that we have top of mind. LaShawna said it best when she was like, we looking at this person with 500 some million followers, but are their personal values showing up? You want to be like them, but do their personal values show up when they post, when you see them out and about, when you see, you know, their brands personified? I always want to be in alignment with great people, with impactful people, and people who are intentional about making sure that they are doing no harm and that they are taking care of other people.
I totally agree. And what I feel like I heard y'all say is it comes authentic because it's from something that you're already doing or something that you're experiencing, right? And if this is something that I am experiencing and I feel called to do it, it shows up authentic and then it becomes harmony. I agree with y'all. There's no balance sometimes. Many parts of our lives, there's no balance. You have to take away from one in order to have the other in a lot of cases, because it just can't, it just doesn't work out like that. And just come into peace, right? That's one of my affirmations later, being at peace with myself and my thoughts and the things that I do. So I absolutely love what you ladies said about that. You know, Brianna, you said from your your parents giving grace. I feel like we have to give ourselves grace as well, right? In those things, whenever sometimes our personal value doesn't show up and we do become aligned with someone that we shouldn't have been, or we're aligned with something that we shouldn't have been, we give ourselves grace and then get back on the flow that we should have been in, right? And so, okay. Number 3, now this is a good one. This is one that I know a lot of Black women deal with. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is common, especially for women of color. How have you worked through this, and what advice can you offer to others facing similar challenges?
I'll go. I'll say that I think I have a different view about imposter syndrome than most. I feel like it exists and we are imposters. Most of us show up in a space that we don't know anything about. If that makes me an imposter, then hey, I put my picture next to the word. That's me. I will show up in spaces as the newbie or fresh out the boat of learning something, and I could be literally impostering my way through that. I think what we do wrong is we get stuck there. It's okay to show up as the new person on the block in a realm or an area that we know nothing about, but do we stay there? We got to keep learning. We got to keep like practicing what we have been taught about what this is. Or for me, because I love to dub myself as a disruptor, putting my own spin on what it is. I don't have to say what the status quo is. Let me put my own spin on this. Also still staying in place with my personal values. I think the biggest way that I learned to get over it was just to determine that I was different. I was always going to be different, and I was going to be okay with being different in this space. Now, again, I'm still keeping up with, I don't want to do any harm. I don't want to, be disrespectful or mean or nasty to anyone else. I would say just own your rights to whatever it is that you want to do, be, and personify, whatever, and know that you may show up as a fraud at first. You may show up as someone who ain't really walking the walk or talking the talk. People who know us personally, who see us in new spaces, they the first ones to say we the frauds. They the first ones to say we the imposters because they don't know us in that space. They don't know us in those eras. But I would say stick to what you know. Never lose sight of your values, and don't stay stuck in the impostoring piece of it. Let's learn and move forward from that.
Well, I agree. Like, actually, Lakeisha, I've never thought about it that way, as we are showing up as imposters, but that makes a lot of sense because we all go through situations that we had never experienced before. But how do you grow, if you're going to stay stuck in the same place? And it's a good point about not getting stuck within that stage. And so for me, like, I've heard people say, I remember I had a coach and she was like, "Oh, I don't believe in imposter syndrome." And I was like, well, I don't know about you, but I really feel like I've experienced it, and not just one time. And if someone else told me, you're going to experience it again, especially if you're going to continue to try new things. But what I like to do is really look at the things that I've accomplished in the past, because at first it was, especially kind of as an introverted loner type of person, it was very hard for me when I first dealt with it. But once I learned that I have accomplished this, I did do that. Oh, I did achieve this. It kind of helps me be like, you know what, girl, you can do this thing. You can do this too. Like, what's going to hold you back from that? Because everything kind of has a first to it for you anyway. And so that's how I see it.
I'll say, one of the first things that I do every day, because imposter syndrome is something that I struggle with. I have a hard time acknowledging like my accomplishments. Like, just this year alone, I have been part of an anthology. I am, I wrote my own devotional. I got a certification, and I still feel like I'm not good enough. That's something that I struggle with every single day that I've dealt with since I was a child, not feeling good enough. So the first thing I do in the morning, I always say my affirmations, and all of my affirmations are biblically based. So when I step into spaces where I feel like I shouldn't be here, as I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, I say that immediately. and I have to keep repeating it. So it's like I'm working that muscle so I can, while I don't think that I'm supposed to be here, or I feel like I'm an imposter in the situation, my face is different. So I always do that ways. Because yeah, it just is, my face has to be bigger than what I see. So even when I feel like I don't belong there, my face is otherwise.
I wanted to ask something real quick. Brianna brought something to my mind that I do, and I definitely want to encourage all of us, especially as Black women, to do. Make you a Get It Girl file. Make you a file, baby. Anytime your name show up somewhere, screenshot it, put it in that file. And on those days when imposter syndrome show up, go show yourself, this who I am. You know how we sometimes got to slide our credentials across the table to the others when they get to tripping? Slide that to yourself some days when you are struggling with where you are. Go open that Get It Girl file like, oh, I was featured on SwagHer. Oh, I was like, sometimes we need that. So, Brad, I'm glad you said that, because sometimes we do have to remember, like, I am that girl. I'm her.
I love that. It's like a girl in my life group told me, she was like, you been that girl. I was like, you know what? I've been that girl. Did and was and is and all the things. But as Fancy said, Lakeisha, I never thought about imposter syndrome like that. I am an imposter because I am new to this, and this is something new for me. So not so much, well, imposter, but it's just something new. And it reminded me of a Jay-Z quote. Of course I've changed. I didn't work this hard to stay the same. You know what I'm saying? It really just can't. I didn't work this hard to be that. So I think it was Fancy or Brianna. One of them said, people, or maybe it was you, Lakeisha, that people that knew us from before are like, you fraud. But no, I'm not fraud. I am growing. And are you going to come with me? Or are you going to stay there? Because I can't stay there. You know what I'm saying? And Brianna, yes. Always battling the am I good enough? And some of that is because of the noise that we heard as a young kid, especially being a Black woman. Are you good enough? And it's imagery, right? And that's why SwagHer is so important, because it shows us Black women doing it. And we're like, you know what? Sis doing it. I can do it too. I'm going to do it too. Let me go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love Fancy. Fancy, no, that's my sister. She always encourages me and make me feel like I can. Even when in spaces I don't feel like I can. So thank you, girl. Moving on. With the rapid changes in media and business spaces, what do you believe is the future of Black women in leadership roles, and how can we prepare for it?
I think we're already kind of seeing the changes, because we as Black women are now talking about, and I know I keep going back to rest, but again, I think it's so important. So I see a lot of Black women right now in leadership really leading in their own styles, and a big part of that is making time for rest, because we're mothers, we're caregivers, we're sisters, we're daughters, and we have more to do. We're not just wearing one hat at a time, we're actually wearing multiple hats at different times. And so, and at the same time, but what I'm trying to say is that I think that more women are kind of seeing like the value in rest and making space for that, as opposed to feeling like they always have to be on go because they have this title, because they're trying to do so and so. We're now seeing like, hey, it's okay to make my lane a lane that is suitable for me. You know what I mean?
You on mute, girl.
Oops.
There you go.
Sorry, y'all. I would say, as Black women, I feel like we can do it all. If you ask me, we absolutely can do it all. And I've had the pleasure of being in spaces with very powerful Black women like Fancy. And like I work with the Black Chamber here. She is actually the president of the Black Chamber here in Augusta and for the Southeast region. So she's over the Black Chamber Coalition. I've worked with the president and founder of Black Women in Media, who was doing amazing things up in New York. And I just feel like we really should just lean into it, to our power, and really just do everything that we're supposed to do. I think we have gotten to a space where we're not ashamed of where we've come from anymore. I think before it was like, I can't talk about this because I don't want to be embarrassed by this, but a lot of people are starting to embrace it. And I think it's putting them in a position where they can really lead authentically and effectively.
I love what y'all said. Brianna, I want to pose this to us. Just because we can don't mean we have to. Because what I'm going to do is go take a nap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delegate. I'm not doing it all, although I possibly can. And if I do it all, am I doing it all to 100% of what it needs to be? Like, is it getting the maximum that it needs from me? And so I don't want us to lose sight that we can do it all. We need to know that. Put that in your Get a Girl file today. I can do it all. But do we have to? I love conversations around leadership. That is one of my main roles when we talk about mental health, because there's no intersection between mental health and leadership, and especially for women. Lately, y'all been seeing me talk about soft girl CEO, and I think that is very prevalent. We need to start looking at ourselves as soft girls, not a void of responsibilities, but a softer way of showing up. When you think about the perception of Black women in the C-suite, it ain't cute, y'all. It ain't pretty. When I walk into meetings at my job, I can see on their faces what they may think about me before I even open my mouth. The perception that we've been given, that we mean girls, that we can be the B word, that we're forceful and we're aggressive, all these terms that they give us. But there's really a softer side to us. We're very empathetic. That people don't know, especially if we live with a mental health conditions. We're very empathetic when it comes to other people's situations. I think as leaders, or us who are the seasoned ones of us, the OGs who are ushering in or helping the newer generations of leaders, let's teach them a softer side of what a CEO looks like. I can be very feminine and very pretty. I can also be very powerful in that right with how I speak to you. I don't have to be mean and aggressive to say what I say. And most of the time, y'all, to be honest, I don't feel we are aggressive when we talk. I do feel like, however, sometimes we can say things a little softer and a little different than how it's perceived, so that people can see us in a different way and want to adapt to our style of leadership, because I feel like we the ones who bring it. When something go wrong, think about it, y'all. When something go wrong at your job, who they running to? What they look like? Let's just be honest about the whole thing. They all the time don't look like other people. They look like us who have the solutions. So I think as leaders, it's all about how you feel, but also how you feel is how you show up in these different spaces, and how you feel like, I want to be seen this way, so this is why I behave or I show up this way. Not because we faking it, but because we truly are soft girls, because we truly are these leaders who empathize and understand what the plight is. I think we one of the most understanding groups of folks, because y'all, we done been through it all. And I think we're very empathetic, but a lot of times it's not seen, because we walk in the rooms and people like, oh, there's the Black girl. So we already know how this is going to go. But I'm excited about what Fancy said, where leadership is going for us, because I feel like it's already showing up right now.
Truly and honestly, I believe that it's now. The future of female is now. The future is now, and it is female. That's why I named my business Lady CEO, because I can be a lady. I can walk in and be dainty, but I can also run this room too, and I can do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Last question. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs or creatives who are looking to grow their platform while staying true to their purpose and passions?
Then just do what makes sense. Just if it doesn't align with where you are, where you're trying to go, don't do it. If it does, try to find a way to do it, to make it your own. And even when it comes to like content that you're putting out there to give yourself more visibility, you don't have to do it the way everybody else is doing it. You can do it your own way. A lot of my content is literally me driving in my car or making dinner for my son, or I'm not I don't have time to be sitting in front of a camera all day. I'm not doing it. So I make it my own, and I show my captions, and whatever I'm putting on the screen is giving more than what, whatever you're seeing on camera. So just making sure you're aligned with in all ways possible.
I would have to. I definitely agree with Brianna, but I would also say, like, as long as you have, like, we talked about our values, or you might want to call them pillars. When you have those things in place and you build strategically, I feel like people are gonna come. I feel like we're in a season of authenticity, and people are genuinely looking for that. So if you build something that's genuine and strategic, I think that you really have a possibility of being successful with it. Those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I love that. I think two words come to mind for me when we talk about, when we talk about people, entrepreneurs and creatives who are looking to grow their platforms, it's intention and it's an impact. How are you intentional? I have a board, and Fancy, this is probably the first time you heard that, but SwagHer was one of the brands I've always wanted to work with. When I got into business and I saw her out there, that was one of the brands I not only wanted to work with, but I wanted to be in their magazine, and all of that has come true for me. There was intention behind it. One of my other clients, she was on my brand board like 2 years ago, and I got the opportunity to work with her, and I still work with her now. It is about intention. Now, I'm not going to get into the conversation about manifestation, because then I make people mad about that. I feel like when you are intentional and you put in the work, if I didn't show up a certain way, Fancy may not have been attracted to work with my brand, or even to have me in her magazine, because it's not just about the dollar for her. It's about who she puts in. Do their values align with them? Because she has that say so. I think we also have to look at impact. What do people feel when they leave my presence? What do they feel when they know I'm coming? We saw all these flyers for this amazing event. It's somebody y'all resonated with before y'all even said, let me go sign up. So whoever resonated with you is who you felt impacted by. I want people to feel impacted greatly by me in a good way. Now, I know it ain't gonna always show up like that for some people, and I'm okay with that, as long as I stay in line with my personal values and things like that. But I think we look at, what impact do I want to leave? What does that mean when I'm not in the room? When somebody sees my logo, sees my name, what do they feel when I'm there? So I think as we look at how to grow our businesses, build our business, even start a business, start with an intentional list. Who are the people that you want to work with? Who are the brands that you want to work with and want to do things with? Who are those people? Now, with the intention, I go to work. I got to go watch and see what SwagHer's doing so that I can be in alignment with what she is. That's if I am authentic too. But also, what impact do I want to leave on SwagHer? Not just what she's giving to me, but what am I leaving to her brand when I work with her or she works with me?
Trying to come off from mute. I love everything you guys said. It, Brianna, I identify with you. I be in the car on my way to work. God give me something and I say it. And that's just what it is. Y'all gonna get these car chronicles because this is when I got the time to do it. I make time. Listen, but that's intentional. And I love that, being intentional, being you, being authentically you, and bringing your whole self to it. Thank you, ladies, so much for this round table. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys took some notes and you learned something new about yourself today. Right. All right, next, it's finally my turn. Well, it was already my turn, right? So, you guys, I am going to go over some affirmations. And listen, you can create your own affirmations. I'm going to be doing mirror affirmations. I am big on affirmations. I am big on what am I putting into my mental, because if I am not feeding myself what I need to be feeding myself, I cannot go forward and being intentional in my whole self, bringing my whole authentic self. So these are very important. I literally was, I prayed this morning and I was like, you know what, God, I need some affirmations. Give me some affirmations for today to give to the ladies to help along their journey. So if you would, I am going to take my time and go over, I got quite a few here. So we're going to take some deep breaths. I believe in taking some deep breaths when I'm saying them, just to kind of let them resonate with me and that I am really, really, really taking in the moment. All right. So the first one is, my rest is my responsibility. Listen, nobody's going to tell you to go rest. You have to go rest. And as one of the ladies said, rest is not always sleep. Sleep is a form of rest, but it is not always sleep. Sometimes you just need to sit back and breathe. I am organized and I give myself space and permission to slow down. I am the main character of my story. I attract opportunities that push me to my purpose. Slowing down does not mean I am lazy, but that I am self-aware of the need to relax. Let me say that one again, because so many times we hear people saying, oh, you're not doing nothing, you lazy. Or we even tell ourselves that, right? We tell, oh, I'm just being lazy. Stop that. Slowing down does not mean I am lazy, but that I am self-aware of the need to relax. No one can create my uniqueness because I am the special sauce. Owning my wellness make me a better version of myself. I do not go along to get along. I own my voice. That's one of my favorites. I capitalize on every opportunity afforded to me. I am at peace with my environment, and my environment is at peace with me. Divine has gifted me my own light, and I don't have to dim my sister's light to shine. Honoring my no is not being disrespectful. It is setting my boundaries. Boundaries are for my resilience. Sorry. Boundaries are for my resilience. I am exclusive and expensive. I honor my yes because I am very strategic in where I lend my energy and talents. Busy is not a badge of honor. I do not have to be occupied all the time. Success does not mean I am busy. I am intentional. And last one, my rest and wellness are non-negotiables. I hope you wrote some of those down and they can help you this week. Those are what God has given me to give to you.
That was amazing.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, those were such amazing affirmations. Jennifer, how are you? How have you been enjoying the wild?
Today has been wild.
Yes.
When we have been wandering and finding out some good tidbits.
Yes. I love it. I love being wild.
Yes, embracing it. Love learning, being reminded to say no, being reminded to take a pause for myself. You know, everyone that joined today took a pause for themselves to have this moment to be empowered, to be encouraged, to be strengthened, to be reminded of some of the things that we want to make sure we're doing.
Absolutely. Setting boundaries and making ourselves a priority. So that's amazing. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. We've just been having such a blast. But we do want to make room for our event curators, right? And so we want to do that right now. We have the beautiful and lovely Fancy and Miss Lakeisha here to close us out.
Great job, ladies.
We did it, Fancy. We did it. You're on mute.
Y'all, I tried to go off mute initially when I came on, and I was like, "Oh, you're not on mute," so yeah, I can't see it. But yes, we did do it, and I'm just so grateful for all of you all that showed up, that have been, dropping comments in the chats. Whether you're watching via Facebook or YouTube, I do apologize. I don't know what happened on Facebook, but if I don't even know if it's back on live now, but even if not, you can let your people know that it is available on YouTube and they can watch in full there. And I just want to take a quick second, thank our sponsors again, get their names right this time. So the Alternate Path, Spine Party, Accessorize Your Mood, Sister Girl Chronicles, Coif Do, Support Her Boots, and I'm Everyone Woman. Thank you all so much for your yes and for just helping to make this event possible.
Yes, this was amazing. Y'all, we are not just talking about rest, we embody rest. I'm going to take a nap after this. So we want y'all to definitely know that rest is something that is essential. It is for our well-being, as every guest has said. So I'm excited, Fancy. I think this was awesome. I can't wait for our next installment because we want the ladies to know this just isn't a one-time thing. This will be something ongoing for us.
Yes. And we're actually hoping to make it something in person. So do continue to follow the pages. You all are in a segment in our newsletter, so you will be receiving updates from time to time as well.
Yes. So we're excited. Thank you all so much. Make sure you go follow me and Fancy for updates of what's going on between us outside of this. Fancy, thank you again for including the LM experience as a part of this. This was great.
You're more than welcome. One thing though, Lakeisha, are you going to show about the upcoming event as well? Don't forget about that.
See, forgot already, y'all. Forgot already. And SwagHer is actually one of our is our media sponsor. So I'm going to add this to the stage. We actually have a wait list for the event. It's called the Whole CEO. The Whole CEO Experience. And y'all, this event is in person here in Houston. This event is going to be a business and wellness holistic fair. So we'll have vendors out there. We'll have some different stations out there where you can come and get information, number one, about mental health, about wellness, but also about business, because those all three go hand in hand. And so we haven't officially opened the event site yet, but it's a free event, y'all. So it's free. It's free, and we will tell y'all the location in Houston. So this is the QR code. If you just take out your phone and scan it, it will put you in the wait list. You'll be the first to know when the event site opens up in about 2 weeks. We also have vendor opportunities as well. If you want to be a vendor at this event and have an event space there, you definitely can do that. If you want to, you can scan this QR code. And Fancy, I'll make sure you have this information if you can share it for me as well. And we also have some sponsorship opportunities as well to make this event just as great as anything else. We really believe in community and bringing everyone together in one space to be able to talk about three important pillars: business, wellness, and mental health. So thank you for the opportunities, Fancy.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Lakeisha. I don't know if y'all can probably see it though, but Lakeisha's been working so hard behind the scenes, just rotating us off the stage and on the stage and all the things. And I greatly appreciate it, Lakeisha. I see that I chose the right person to partner with for this event. So I'm really grateful for your yes as well.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're excited, y'all. Y'all go take a nap. We're going to take a nap. Yeah. So bye, y'all.
Bye.